the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket. It's not about the winning, it's about how many rules you break. Even in cricket commentary, this is the best advice to take. Pick guerrilla cricket, it's the finest choice you'll ever make. There's so much more to cricket than rev counters and a slice of cake. At first they tried to sanitize us and clean up our act, but people like it filthy and we know that foul. Mahatma Gandhi, Grant and Andy, Brendan Behan, Austin for a fact, Fidel Castro, Lenny Pascoe, Carlos the Jackal, Umar Akmal, the TV and the radio, so vive la revolution. First they tried to buy us, but we would not be bought. Okay, we were, but then we ran away, and we will not be caught. We would not give up the ghost when they left us all for dead. Ian, guerrilla cricket. Stick with us, cause you know we're not the kind of thing that you see on. They decapitated us, but we just grew another head. Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Darrell Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
It's farewell to Phil. Phil Simmons, the Afghanistan coach, says his goodbyes to his charges, hoping they can end with an elusive victory from a troubled campaign. And how ironic it would be if he signs off this World Cup with a win against the West Indies, his likely next call on the coaching merry-go-round, and a first victory in the 2019 tournament. But Jason Holder, the West Indies captain, wants revenge. He wants revenge for that defeat in the final of the World Cup qualifiers before we even got to England. So there is something to play for both teams in what otherwise might be considered a meaningless match. Good morning, good afternoon. Is that the West Indies have won the toss and will bat, and Nakul M. Pandey alongside me has team news.
Hello Hendo, hello cricket. Yeah, 2 changes per team.
Afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket. I'm Guerrilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and we are at Headingley for the West Indies against Afghanistan. The news...
Afghanistan leave out Hashmatullah Shahidi, and Hamid Hassan, who suffered that injury against Pakistan, is also out a sad way for a storied career to end for Hamid Hassan. So they bring in 2 seamers, Daulat Zadran, and making his World Cup debut, playing his second one-day international, but probably the first in which he'll actually have something to do. Syed Shahzad, the left armour, who is in for, who was brought into the team for Aftab Alam, who was sent home for an unspecified disciplinary violation. So Afghanistan going with Rahmat Shah, captain Gulbuddin Naib, Ikram Ali Keel, the wicketkeeper, who's steadily been working his way up the order, Asghar Afghan, Mohammad Nabi, Najibullah Zadran, Samiullah Shinwari, Rashid Khan, Mujibur Rahman, Daulat Zadran, and Syed Shahzad. 2 changes also for the West Indies. Evan Lewis comes back in at the top of the order, because he's fit again, and Kemar Roach is well again, having apparently had a nasty bout of hay fever, which kept him out of the West Indies' last game against India. So they're going with Gale and Lewis opening, Shai Hope, the wicketkeeper, Nicholas Poorer and Shimron Hetmeyer, captain Jason Holder, Carlos Brathwaite, Fabian Allen, Kemar wrote Sheldon Cottrell and O'Shane Thomas.
Indeed they do, and during this tournament you get preferential odds. You won't get these odds anywhere else unless you come through us. And the bets we have today are West Indies to win. As you know, if you've been listening to us throughout the tournament, we start each day with some special bets for you, courtesy of Betway.com, who we are partnering with. Mohamed Nami to get 50 or more, Jason Holder to take 2 wickets or more. That will get you odds of 7-1. But amazingly, Afghanistan to remarkable 14-1. So if you want to take part in that, the bets of the day, go to betway.com/GC Radio. Betway.com. Win Gale to get more than 50, and Rashid Khan, who's already taken 7 for 18 in one of the ODIs between these two teams, to get 2 wickets or more, and that will get you dazzled eyes. It's none other, I tell you, than Tony Bishop 1.
Hello, good morning everybody.
Good morning.
No wooden spoon match.
Forward slash GC Radio. And on my left, with tweets galore pouring in front of his...
That's already decided.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of pride at stake, I reckon. And I think Phil Simmons might just be interviewing for his new job.
Yes, well, absolutely. This seems to be the thing. Now,
his new old job.
For his new old job.
Or his old job back again, if you like.
But I mean, I sort of alluded to the fact that it's a bit of a coaching merry-go-round, and it is, isn't it? I mean, there don't seem to be many people from outside, a little cabal of coaches that get the jobs. It just seems to go from one to another to a different nation. England will be looking for another coach, won't they, in the not too distant future, when Trevor Bayliss finally hangs up his very, very ancient hat, and that will be interesting to see whether they go for a left field appointment or not. Anyway, the batsmen are on their way out to the middle, and it's Chris Gale and Evan Lewis that we shall jingle up.
Girls, I love me some girls, but we're strong enough to carry. Girls.
That was Christopher Henry Gale, who may or may not be retiring, and he is partnered by this man.
He is Evan. He's Evan Lewis.
Well, we thought we might see the best of Chris Gale departing from World Cup history. This tournament hasn't really come off for him. He's got a couple of 50s. But I do know that he needs only 47 more runs to become West Indies' top scorer in World Cup cricket. He would take over from Brian Charles Lara, would you believe? And Evan Lewis, again, another man who's promised so much, but it's been hobbled by injuries, really. Just averaging 18. He's got 73 runs in the tournament. One of those was 70. So he's not really been at his best, and we were expecting more, as I imagine were those West Indies fans who are wrapped up in the Caribbean flag. And Mujib-ur-Rahman is going to open the bowling, and it's interesting because he took 4 for 43 in that World Cup qualification.
Joke about the Taliban, he's not a fan.
It's match 42. We're gradually winding our way to match 48 qualifier final.
He also bowled beautifully the other day against Pakistan, as he did against India.
What a game that was. What a game.
Joke about the Taliban with Mujib-ur-Rahman.
At Lords on Sunday, July the 14th.
Home stretch now.
We are on the home stretch. We are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I've been sat in this seat for days.
I will be bereft when it ends.
Well, I know we will. But then there's more cricket. There's England, Ireland, and then there's the Ashes. So no reason to be downhearted. He's coming round the wicket. He's got a slip, and Gale gets a full ball, which he drives to extra cover, and there is no run. West Indies won the toss and chose to bat. Not much of a crowd, I'm afraid, in. I wonder whether this one did sell a lot of tickets, but people have thought, well, there's not that much in it, I'm not going to bother, especially if you're travelling from a long way away. This is just chipped into the onside by Gale as he props forward, and there is no run. Mujib has the ball back in his hands. He's in around the wicket to Gale. That's down the leg side. He tried to sweep but didn't get hold of it at all. This is A ball that just goes straight on, as left alone outside the off stump by Gale. Now, if they got through these overs as quickly as this, we could be home by 2 o'clock. And it runs to the man on the 45. And there is no run. We're seeing some Afghanistan fans taking selfies with Majib before the match starts. He's racing through it at the moment, is Majib. We'll come to your tweets at the end of the over. Majib is in again. Oh, he's
lovely.
Beaten Gale, I think, there, just outside the off stump. Gale trying to convince that he tucked the bat behind the pad, but I'm not sure that he had. It's a lovely little one that's got leg spin revs on it, but just more or less goes straight on. He might have read that as the leg break and thought it would come into him. This one will bring him a single as he jabs it into the onside towards square leg, and that is the end of the over.
There's
one ball to go. Oh right, I've miscounted. So West Indies are.
Oh wait, no, it
running.
must be the end of
no,
the over.
it is the end of the over. There we go. My counting was perfect. What's happening on the Twitter sphere, Tone?
Well, Annie Chave says, sharing my computer with you three, the dream team as I type away at my computer. Hello. Hello to you, Annie. We got 3 kisses as well. 1 each, I
3
presume.
kisses. Oh, lovely.
Arthur Shear and Tasmin, both in Ireland.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Ireland v Zimbabwe.
I'm not saying anything, but they are. And yes, indeed, I think Taz is commentating there, isn't she?
Oh, right.
She's certainly in the media centre, and they're arranging to meet for cake, as far as I can tell.
Wish I could meet for cake.
TV umpire had said we would be very interested to hear an opinion about Naib's performance as captain, not his bowling. Should he continue after the World Cup?
I think he's done a reasonable job, actually, I have to say. Although, who knows what's been going on behind the scenes?
I mean, he didn't want to be captain. The team didn't really want him to be captain.
Yeah.
He's
he
done
had captaincy thrust up.
That's a grand Afghan bowler who rolls in with languid grace. He smashes stumps all over the place.
On him, didn't
very
he?
much, and he's well, Afghanistan haven't really given themselves a chance going into this World Cup. Opening the bowling from the other end.
Yeah, it's worth letting that jingle run. I quite like that guitar at the end. First ball is jabbed into the onside where there is a space around about mid-wicket, and Gale gets his second.
He's played against Canada and Pakistan. He's gonna ruin your fledgling stand.
West Indies move to 2 without loss. It's Zadran coming in from the Kirkstall Lane end. We've got the Kirkstall Lane end, we've got the football ground end, the newly rebuilt football stand. It's big, isn't it? It's big. It reminds me a little bit of one of those stands at Melbourne or at Hobart. This great southern stand or something like that. Wide of the end, of course, which does look impressive. I haven't been to Headingley since it's been done, but it does look good.
No, I was there last year when they were still building it.
Yeah. Now it looks
towers over the players at that end.
Yes. Any more Twitters?
Pirate Badshah had said without access to either the live stream or the Gorillas until at least lunch, so I'm counting on these updates. Also looking forward to hearing Summer Yale later on.
That's a horrible situation to be in, not be able to hear us. Or maybe some people would consider it heaven. He off stump to Evan Lewis, and he rather exaggeratedly leaves this one and lets it go through to the keeper. 2 without loss. Here's Adolat Zadran then coming down the hill to bowl to Lewis, and Lewis goes across and allows this one to hit him rather high, really on the thigh pad, the back thigh pad. A ridiculous appeal or inquiry from Dorlat to the umpire, which presumably wasn't taken seriously, even though we are seeing the DRS timer count its way down.
Yep. Armchair Cricket Podcast says, good day, Gorilla Cricket.
Good day.
Good day.
Good
And
day.
would the Universe Boss and Co take the last chance to put up a big total, or will Rashid Khan and Co get in their way?
Well, fascinating to see, isn't it? I think all of us would like to see Afghanistan take something away from this tournament. And I'll come back to that, actually. One thing about the format that occurred to me this morning. This is a beautiful drive by Lewis, but straight to square cover, and there is no run. Despite the fact that we've been critical of the need to get India 9 games for broadcasting purposes, what it has done, 9 games against good quality opposition, which shouldn't be forgotten. In comes Dorlat Zadran outside the off stump, coming back in, if anything, to Lewis on this tournament, is given those teams that are, well, I say those teams, it's really only Afghanistan, a team that's on the way up, one hopes, a chance to play against what we would consider slightly better opposition for an extended period. It's given them 9 games. That is true, and we understand that. But the chances are that in that event, then there were more teams. Those teams wouldn't have got so many games against who's right across onto his off stump, defends back to the bowler, and there is no run.
The tragedy of the format is there's so many other teams who have been denied that opportunity.
Yes, higher quality opposition, if you want to call it that, at this stage. But yes, it's a difficult one. But from the point of view of developing Afghanistan cricket, I think it's got to be a good thing. Lewis goes across and plays that very well, I think. Gets it fine. Behind square on the onside, and it's run down the hill for 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
He's been trying to get over to the offside, and this time he did, and the ball was a little bit straighter, and it enabled him to whip it away. Very fine indeed, very nice shot. And at the end of the second over, West Indies have moved to 6 without loss.
Oh, don't forget, Afghanistan have, I think, won 3 out of their last 5 games in ODIs against West Indies.
3 out of 4.
Yeah. Well, there was a no result, wasn't there? So yes, you could say 3 out of 4.
Yes, indeed.
Didn't they thump them?
Well, they did the first ones by 63 runs, I think. They played three games all at St Lucia, didn't they?
They did, all at Grozile.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Rashid Khan got 7 for 18, didn't he?
He did.
In that game where they won by 63.
Yes, indeed. And then the West Indies came roaring back, and then the final game was a washout, which was a shame.
That's
Mujib
right.
will continue bowling to Gale. Gale goes back and steers this into the onside. He jogs the single as ever. Nothing too hurried for the Universe boss. Score moves to 7 without loss.
Mujib did well in both of those games as well. 3 for 33 and 4 for 43.
TV umpire has retweeted Tim. Do we have time? Shall I wait till after this ball?
Wasn't the 4 for 43 in the World Cup qualifier?
Yes, with Mujib.
I'm pretty sure that is what I saw.
Yes.
Yes, onto the back foot goes Lewis, and Mujib has to run to his left to stop that escaping for a single.
In fact, both of them were. One of them was in the group stage game of the World Cup qualifier, and the 4 for 43 was in the final of the World Cup qualifier.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what he did in the games in Gro Islet. Now Lewis goes onto the back foot. The ball just keeps coming on, and in the end he just drives it into the ground, really. Flowing drive that runs away to extra cover for one of these.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Mujib trying to give that some overspin, a little bit too short, and Lewis was onto that very quickly.
Yeah, and he played it beautifully, he really did. There is, and the ball doesn't go very far at all. There is no run.
Mujib didn't play in any of those games.
He didn't play in those games, fair enough. This is a little bit shorter, and Lewis goes onto the back foot and plays a lovely, something about Lewis, he has got a touch of class, and it's a shame that we haven't seen enough of it in this tournament. But also great placement. Mujib in again, bowls. He goes back, hit on the pad, ball straightening ever so slightly from the line of just outside leg stump. And now Chris Gaffney is saying to Mujib, I think you're running on the pitch, mate. Can you avoid doing that? I don't think it was an official warning. It was just a friendly word.
It's Gaffney and Long standing. Gaffney at the football stand end. Long at the coach.
And goes into the covers, and there is no run. That is the end of the third over. West Indies winning the toss and batting are 11 for no wickets.
Yeah, the conversation between TV umpire and Tim.
The lane end, Ian Gould is the TV umpire. Chris Broad's the match referee.
Forward comes Lewis. Ball does turn away from him ever so slightly. He grins about that, but deals with it capably.
Tim had said, with Shahidi dropped, it means Afghanistan have dropped all but 4 of their players at times at this tournament.
Oh, good stat.
Yeah.
No real logic to any of it.
They've not had an unchanged team, and they've used 17 players during this the course of this tournament. Shazad and Ikram, neither of whom were in the original 15.
Well, it does seem odd that Hashmatullah Shahidi, strike rate slightly, or scoring rate slightly slow. That might have a bearing on it. But he has had to deal with difficult situations for Afghanistan in this tournament, so I think it's a little bit unlucky on his behalf that he's the man who makes way. Daulat Zadran will continue from the Kirchdale Lane end. We're looking towards that, barring the fact that he might be injured, but we haven't heard that he is. Has scored 2 of Afghanistan's 450s in this tournament. He's averaging 24.6 at a magnificent news stand. It's quite empty. There are little pockets of spectators. In comes Daulat, bowls to Gale. The ball comes back into him, and Gale was steeling himself to flamboyantly drive this off the back foot through the offside. In the end, gets cramped for room and can only knock it into the pitch and get no run. Long is standing, as we said, along with Chris Gaffney.
I thought you'd said that Gaffney was long standing.
Well, I was going to say that.
As in,
yes.
had been around a while.
Indeed, that's. I did think of trying to make a play on words about that, but I avoided it. Had to rein myself in. Let's have a look at this field. We've got a slip. We've got a ring of 4 on the offside. There's a man at the 45. There is a man at mid-on. There must be a deep mid-wicket, I would suggest. Here comes Dorlat in, hits Gale on the pad as he was looking to flick this into the onside, and there is no run. Gale can be very pedestrian in the first 3 or 4 overs, and once he finds his range, once he gets used to the pace of the pitch, then he can take a game away from you. But as I said, he hasn't really done it in this tournament, and we were hoping for him to go out on a high. Maybe he will today.
Or not go out, as the case may
Or
be,
not
because
go
he
out.
said he might play the Test matches and the One Day Internationals against India.
Yeah, but he is retiring from World Cup cricket, is he not? I thought he said this will be his last World Cup. In comes Dorlat Zaran, full of ball, outside the off stump this time. Gale allows it to pass, and there is no runner. We've been joined by anyone on Crick Tracker?
Yes, I believe so.
Sorry,
Although, are the I have to ask a technical question. Are these related to... No, I didn't think they were. In that case, we plenty of people there haven't said anything yet. So if you are on Crick Tracker, do say hello to us.
Indeed. Here comes Dorlat to bowl to Gale, and it's well, he gets his front leg out of the way and just clobbers this straight, and picks up 4 runs.
With the super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, rocka, super shatter.
Now it looks like a number of, quite a couple of big groups of primary school children have been invited into the ground in the absence of too many spectators, and they're enjoying seeing Chris Gale. This might be what turns them onto cricket forever.
We can see that actually that at that Kirksall Lane, that it is starting to fill up.
Now he tries to aim another big shot and chops it onto his foot, and then it directs its way back to the bowler, and there is no run. It is filling up, but I'm not sure that it's going to means to individual sides and individual players. It means quite a lot.
Well, I think the Afghan fans will travel in numbers, but there isn't a big West Indian population in Leeds.
Comes Dorlet way wide of the off stump, and Gale ignores that really, treats it with contempt, lets it go through, and that is the end of the 4th over. West Indies after a massive crowd today, and not surprisingly really, when you've got a game that in terms of the tournament means nothing, but in terms of what it means, 15 for no wicket.
Lena Kulkarni has joined us on Crick Tracker
Hello there.
with a heart and the words Afghanistan. So hello to you, and I'm assuming clearly a lover of Afghanistan. Wishing them well for today.
Lena Kulkarni is an Indian name from Maharashtra. There's a very close links between the Afghan Cricket Board and the BCCI these days, and some of that has been taken on by the fans.
Yep. Gale has 7, Lewis has 8. So I'm glad I'm not sitting near them. That's all I can say. It's a very sort of metallic sound, don't they? No, they make a horrible metallic sound. It's really unpleasant. Back goes Lewis right in front of his stumps, gets his bat down and defends to mid-wicket. Majib starting his 3rd over.
I mean,
I tell you what though, they've given those kids those inflatables, which if you bang together make a really annoying sound, almost as awful as the vuvuzela. Easy, horrible sound. It really grates on your brain. Majib bowls short and wide, cut by Lewis. Didn't really lay into that, but he's got enough on it to find the gap.
they hand those out to everyone anyone who wants one at the entrance to the ground, to the stewards, the cricketers, the volunteers.
Yep, I'm sure they do, but I don't like it. It makes a noise, and it to run away for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
My bigger issue with those clapper things is that they're single-use plastic.
Well, I hadn't really thought about that, but that's an absolutely perfect reason for why they should be banned. Ban them, ICC, ban them, ECB, whoever's in control, and I'm not sure either of you are. Anyway, Lewis moves on to 12. Majib throws this one up. He gets in behind it though, playing it off the pitch into the covers. There is no run.
Arthershire's updating us from Stormont, saying
Right.
teams unchanged, Zimbabwe with 2 changes.
Did Balbirnie get some runs, did I see? Or I
I
certainly
think he
read
did in
headlines
the
about it.
second
I didn't
game,
actually have a chance to look at the report. This is worked up through mid-on by Lewis. There is a man back, and they will take the single comfortably enough. Again, Mujib could be in trouble because he sort of sets himself for the reply from the batsman, jumping right in front of the stumps. And Chris Gaffney's not happy about this. This could be an official warning, is it?
I think Mujib stopped just short of the danger area that time.
No, but he
only
jumped.
just.
Did you not see he jumps into that position as if he's setting himself for a return
Yeah,
catch?
but he's just short in that position of that. But Gaffney's having a very good look at it.
Mujib in again, turns ever so slightly from outside leg stump onto the pad of Chris Gale, then runs away. Here we go. Look, he runs right into
That time he's
the
got
danger
right
area.
on it.
Yes,
yeah.
that is not good. And Chris Gaffney will not be a happy umpire if he continues to do that. Mujib in to complete the over, bowls to Gale. Gale pushes forward. He's looking for the single as the ball runs back to a square on the offside. But Lewis is not interested. That's the end of the 5th over. 5 runs from it. West Indies 20 for no wickets.
Andy Balbirnie got 100 in that game the
Right.
other day.
He really is
Yeah,
developing
I thought he
into.
did.
I think he's developing into a really good cricketer.
He is.
And I think in a way, his time as a professional in county cricket probably came a bit too early for him. I think if he was now playing county cricket, he'd be getting a heap of runs. Anyway, Gaffney is still chatting away to Gulbadin, I guess, the captain, about what Mujib is doing. He's grinning. He's quite friendly about it. Dorlat Azadran will continue. None for 9 from his first 2 overs.
Mog is here and says Gorilla Cricket goes green. I think he's referring to our discussion about the clappers or bangers.
Onto the front foot. Why are we seeing that again? I have no idea why
We're seeing
that again.
Mujib running on the wicket again.
Well, he didn't run on the wicket that time. He went He went well wide. Maybe that's what they're making the point, that he did everything he could to keep off the wicket that time. They will get a single to the first ball of Zadran's 3rd over. Comes off a thick inside edge, runs towards deep square leg. Lewis moves to 14, 21 for no
He also
wicket.
gave himself a massive whack on the outside of the knee with his bat, just for good measure.
Okay. Not quite sure why he did that. Was he annoyed with himself?
No, he's
just
in the
hurt
process
himself.
of playing the shot.
Okay, yeah, that can be painful if you catch the inside of the knee. Anyway, Gale now to face. He's on 7. Zadran approaches, comes past, umpire long bowls, and beats Gale by quite a remarkable amount. He just jabbed at that down the line, and it went away. But it didn't seem to move that extravagantly, did it? Yeah, a little bit perhaps.
It moved a little bit, and then
Yeah.
actually Gale did play at it, and then tried to bring the bat inside the line as though he was playing the curtain rail leave as beloved of the beloved Marcus Trescothick.
Indeed. Trescothick did just hold the bat really nicely inside the line, I think, better than Gale does there. Zadran in, who comes down the wicket, and he's caught behind. He aimed a big drive at that, got an outside edge or toe of the bat on it, and that brings to an end Chris Gale's batting for this World Cup. A disappointing departure for 7 from 18, West Indies 21 for 1.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
A somewhat inglorious end to a hell of a World Cup career for Chris Gale.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
sad, very sad.
His body language was strange. I mean, I know sometimes it can be, but in his kind of sort of slow and bear-like movements that he has. But
Well, yeah, I
that
guess
was just a bit. He just seemed a bit not quite at the races.
seems a little bit
from what I saw
subdued, doesn't
today.
he?
Yeah.
Well, he's taking the applause of the crowd, who realise that's probably the last time they'll see him in World Cup cricket. If he's still literally standing in 2023, I'll be amazed. If he's actually playing cricket in 2023, it will be even more remarkable. I just wonder whether it's all got to him a bit. He thought he'd come back and perhaps be thought he would boss, no pun intended, this World Cup, and it hasn't really worked out for him. Hasn't really worked out for the West Indies after that marvellous start against Pakistan. So disappointment in the camp in general, I would say.
Yeah, Chris Gale gone for 7 off 18, just the one boundary in that time, and the West Indies, having won the toss and elected to bat, are 21 for 1 halfway through the 6th over.
Yes, Arthurshire says Sterling and McCullum arrive at the crease accompanied by shipping out to Boston, a power move by the DJ. Well, you've got Paul Sterling to enjoy their Arthurshire. Mog, says, meanwhile, isn't it reassuring to know that whilst everything is fucked, there's still cricket?
Yeah. Can we have cricket under Brexit? Will it be allowed?
Felix Stock says, hi guys, hopefully we'll have a good game. Lame from Gale, it was rather. And Ravi Nair says, since even Christopher Henry seems not to know whether or not this is his last international innings, can we call him Schrodinger's universe boss? What meaning he's neither alive nor dead?
I kind of think that had he scored...
Don't open his box.
Don't open his box.
Had he scored a massive 100, he might have said, oh, that'll do, boys. But going out with 7 is, as Knuckles says, a bit inglorious, and he might want something more glorious. Shea Hope comes to the wicket, and this is his jingle.
Shea Hope, Shea Hope, Shea Hope, Shea Hope, Shea Hope, Shea Hope, Shea Hope.
250s only for him in this tournament.
Shea Hope.
Only scoring about 4 runs and over in this World Cup.
And he came into it in brilliant form after that knock in Ireland, and also 100 in one of the warm-ups, I think. Dorlat bowls into his thigh, and he turns it away. He's probably going to get 4 runs for that. He is. That's a good start. Down to third man, Shazad can't get round, and that is a boundary.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
You see, we're always at the beck and call of people. So on guerrilla cricket, although you go into a cinema and they say, turn off your phones. You go into a theatre, they say, turn off your phones. You try to do anything, you go to a gig, they say, turn off your phones. But guerrilla cricket, we're always on call. We're always answering to the cricket world. So you may hear the odd tune in the background. Here comes Daulat Zadran into Shea Hope outside the off stump. He defends off the back foot into the ground, and there is no run.
Well, it's going to be this middle order, this 3-4-5 of Hope, Pooran and Hetmeyer, around whom the West Indies will have to build the next generation. And there's a huge amount of talent and potential there, and also joy for those of us who love watching great aesthetically pleasing players.
Well, I think Pooran for me is the man who stands out. I know a lot of people talk about Hetmeyer, and Hetmeyer has got talent, but there's something of a little bit of extra class, I think, about Pooran as a longer form batsman, maybe. Outside the off stump, that said, he got 118 against Sri Lanka on Monday, and has a pretty good average of 51.5. That is the end of a successful over from Daulat Zadran. He'll be very happy to have got rid of the universe boss. After 6 overs, the West Indies are 25 for 1.
Mog says, Christopher Gale 2019, greatly bloated, overhyped, disappointment. So there's a
that's a wonderful legacy, isn't it?
Yeah. That's from
Have that written on your gravestone.
Greatly bloated, overhyped disappointment. Don't forget greatly bloated.
I think actually that will. I know that Grubby was talking about his dad at his funeral wants to go out to go now. I quite like that as a to be read out at my final resting place. Anyway, Mujeeb will continue. 3 overs from him have cost 11 runs. And he's going to be bowling to the left-handed Evan Lewis. He's got a man at slip. He's got 4 on the offside in the circle. He's got a man on the 45. He's got a mid-wicket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And he's also got a long leg, I would think, and the third man. He's in, bowls, and defended back up the onside of the pitch by Lewis. There is no run. Maybe they've got.
I think
he's
there's
got
a
man
long on.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So he won't have a third man, I don't suppose. In he comes again. Bowls to Lewis. Lewis tries to whip this on its way. It was angled down the leg side, stayed down the leg side. He couldn't get hold of it, couldn't reach it. It's a wide, one would presume.
And a good take from Ikram Ali Keel, who is very impressive behind the stumps.
And he's going to have to do more work. Well, no, he won't. This one's come off his pad. Going to have to hurry, though, is Shea Hope. A furious throw came in, and in fact they could get overthrows because the man backing it up at mid-off also allowed it to escape from him, but it's one of those situations where the batsmen have run too far past the wicket in an effort to speed up and then can't get back for the overthrow.
The throw from short fine leg was so powerful it went through extra cover and had to be backed up by mid on the scramble.
Yeah, it was Asghar Afghan who wasn't able to gather it at that pace. So score moves on to 27 for 1 into the 7th over now. Signs that the West Stand, as it's now known, the former Western Terrace, is beginning to fill up. And we're right off to as we're looking at the Carnegie Stand, Carnegie Pavilion, we're right off to the right of that. This is defended back to the bowler by Hope. and there is no run.
Yeah, so the hit into the Western Terrace is not a particularly big one.
No, I think it's the other way around.
Sorry.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's the other way around. Mujeeb has bowled over the wicket to the right hander.
That's the one he bowls off the middle finger, turning from leg to off to leg even.
Did look like there was just a bit of wobble in the air though. Onto the front foot he comes. There was a little bit of encouragement in the air there. It seemed to be a little bit of drift. It seemed to wobble, and Hope came forward to it. First time that this is defended back to him by Hope. There is no run. One ball remaining.
The Mujeeb ball, as Real Fred called it.
The Mujeeb. It should be. Oh, that's great. I mean, I think it's great to name balls a bit like planets after people, after bowlers. Of course, the Bosey was named after Bosanquet, which later became the Googly. This is forced up to long on for a single. Hope will keep the strike after 7 overs. West Indies 28 for 1.
He was also the father of the newsreader.
Indeed, Reggie.
He was indeed. Martin Lawrence is letting us know, just letting our loyal listeners know, that the fantastic Selma Yale is currently in the commentary team for Ireland live stream.
We gorillas get everywhere.
We do.
Get around.
Felix Stock has somewhat bewilderingly sent us a picture of the 1954 German football team. Have I missed anything?
Just
I can't
presume
quite see what
the team that robbed the great Hungary of Ferenc Puskás of the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
What's the connection?
I don't know. That one I'm not too sure.
West German, presumably.
Well, yes, West German.
It's only 54. Did you say 59?
No, 54.
Oh, 54. Okay.
No, 54.
Sorry.
There it is. There's a picture of where the connection there is.
If you
Felix,
know the connection,
let us know.
Let us know. Indeed.
TV umpire says even more bewildering is the fact that they dropped an in-form batsman for a young bowler. We're talking about Afghans' policy, not as if their batting has been so good this tournament.
No, indeed. Zadran bowls clipped in the air. That's been put down. That has been put down, and the fielder stands there. I think it's Rashid Khan. He stands there and says, "Was that my fault?" He looks at the bowler as if to say, "It's your fault for bowling that ball, and I've dropped it. Sorry." Yes, that should have been caught. It just clipped away. I mean, you don't get many more simple catches than that. It's very low, so once he's spilled it hits the ground very quickly. But yeah, Rashid Khan, I mean, he's a good fielder. He should have had that.
The pimps in the crib, ma. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, that would have been an excellent start for Zadran, but in he comes again, bowls back of a length this time. Hope it's onto the back foot, defends, and there is no run. He's got a bit of making up to do, has Rashid Khan.
I found it. It's 65 years today since West Germany won the 1954 World Cup.
Ah, okay, there it is then.
But the connection with cricket?
Who knows? There's a connection for everything somewhere, somehow.
A connection, I would say. Yeah, Daulat Zadran will be very disappointed. 1 for 14. He could have had 2 for 14. He should have had 2 for 14. Here he is in again to Hope. Hope's onto the back foot. Gets a thick inside edge as he defends that. And Rashid Khan is trying to make up for his mistake. He races after that from mid-wicket to behind square and about 50 yards from where he was stationed. He gets there before the man coming in off the fence, but can't prevent 2 runs.
The tweet that was retweeted was from Die Mannschaft. You can make of that what you wish.
Yeah, Die Mannschaft is the German name for the German men's national football team.
Well, there you are.
It sounds so different in English.
It does.
Anyway, here comes Zadran. Bowls. Oh no, we're going to see a replay of the drop for some reason. He's in again outside the off stump. It may have been a slower ball. He may have taken the pace off there because it bounced a second time on the way through to the keeper. And there is no run. 30 for 1. The score predictor, which is, I don't know, just bizarre, says 268.
Steve says, "Hello, I'm here."
Hello.
Nothing to say of great import, so I'll let you do the talking. That's Steve Shipcott. Arthurshire says, "I'm sure all gorillas will get specially tailored MOG 7734 funeral jingles." He's probably written them all already.
Oh God, that's a macabre thought.
People do pre-write obituaries.
Yes, this is true. Flicked again, maybe looking for another a repeat of that push to mid-wicket, which was dropped, but this one goes a lot finer and along the ground, a lot squarer rather, to deep backward square. They take the 1. 1 ball remaining of this over.
Yeah, Mog said, "I've written them, but I doubt I can release them, as they may be used in inquests as evidence.
Oh God, yes. I mean, he may be planning to lop all our heads off with his swords and then release the jingles. I mean, that would be incredibly evil serial killer novel.
Who was it who
wouldn't
had as his epitaph on his tombstone? I told you I was ill.
Spike Milligan.
Oh, Spike Milligan was.
Did that actually happen, or was that just apocryphal?
I think it is true. Darlath is getting significant movement into the right-hander and away from the left-hander.
Well, he's got a chance now to take it away from Lewis. He's in, and Lewis chips this away, but fine. The man on the 45 just stands there and watches it sail past him. I thought for a moment it might have been down his throat, but it isn't. It's down for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4, up. 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4.
8 overs bowled, 35 for 1 is the score. More tweets.
Wahid Ban is saying hi to us on Crick Tracker, so hello
Hi.
to you. Umpire Bell says disappointing from Gale. Had him down for 50 plus today. Ah well.
Oh, well, that's one of our bets buggered, isn't it? What was the bet of the day which we had was...
Afghanistan to win, Gale to get 50, Rashid Khan 2 or more wickets.
Well, for our bet to come in now, the 14-1 shot has gone, I'm afraid. The 7-1 shot of West Indies to win, Nabi to get 50 plus and hold the 2 wickets is still on. We've had, I think, 5 correct bets so far in this tournament, which is not bad, is it?
Not bad going at all.
I don't think so.
All at good odds, of course.
Yeah, and they've come in really in the last couple of weeks. So it's almost as if we've got better as we've gone on. Change of bowling. We're going to see the first sighting of Syed Shahzad. Very medium from quite a long run, driven up to wide mid-off, and they will have time to go through for the single.
Medium-ish, 84 miles an hour. He's a whippy bowler, Syed Shahzad. He does get the ball to move. He has that sort of slightly slingy action. That was his first ball in one-day international cricket.
Well, hey, he's got a wide slip, or he did have a wide slip for the right-hander. Let's see what he does for the left-hander. He's quite short and stocky. He's not a big man by any stretch of the imagination. So, yes, he's more likely to be skiddy, isn't he? I was surprised that was 84. It didn't look it to me. Anyway, let's see what he can work up with his first delivery to Evan Lewis, who is on 18 from 18 deliveries. Sun just seems to have disappeared or faded a little bit at Headingley for the time being. As Lewis settles down, the slip is still quite wide, and he's in. Bowls down the leg side. He's picked up by Lewis and smashed. Welcome to one-day international cricket, says Evan Lewis. That has gone for 6 over long leg.
The number of the day really hops and kicks. The number of the day is 6.
Very friendly short ball down the leg side and an easy help over long leg for Evan Lewis.
Yep, he likes it there, you have to say. He's played well. He's got a couple of 4s very fine, and that one he picked up beautifully. It went high and it went long. So Shahzad saying, "Oh, that's gone a very long way. I wish he hadn't done that." Anyway, let's see what he can reply with. It's all about how you come back, and he is at the end of his run. I think it is a long run for the pace that he generates, I have to say. Anyway, here he comes, accelerating, and he's into Lewis, and that's a much better ball, slightly back of a length outside off stump, and spilled by Shinwari at extra cover. But he deflects it really to the man at mid-off, so although they thought about the single, they didn't in the end come for it.
There's a little of Zahir Khan in his approach to the wicket. He does have quite a big jump. So the Shahzad runs in very straight lines. He doesn't use the front arm as much as Zahir did, but there is quite a verticality to the jump.
He's got a longer run-up than Zahir Khan, I'll say that. He's, it's well over 30 metres. He's back from the circle, and he's yet to find the line length and swing that Zahir Khan has.
He's also doing that thing that Zahir did of hiding the ball.
He is. He's got his 2 hands clasped together initially, then he releases the right hand, and he gets within about 5 metres of the crease and decides, I'm not going to bowl this one. Whether he just lost his run-up or Evan Lewis wasn't quite ready, not quite sure.
He was also holding that cross seam.
Well, he may be worried that he's going to... So I don't think anyone should be worried that they're going to overswing this ball. There's a bit of a breeze in Headingley. We've had a lot of wind around this tournament, it seems to me.
It was breezy up in Derby the other day when I was watching. I tell you. It was beautiful sunshine one day, and I still had my coat on.
Oh, no, that's not much fun. Now, let's see, what can he do with this delivery? He's into Lewis. Oh, now that's a much better ball. That swung from middle and leg to off, I would say, but met well by Lewis, pushed up to mid-off. They run through for a single. That was an encouraging delivery from Shirzad. He has 2 balls remaining.
The wind is blowing left to right as we're looking from this end when the bowling is from the football stand end, so it's blowing towards the short boundary.
Yeah, the thing about wind as a mechanism for moving the ball is that it tends to move it earlier rather than later. But that actually did go quite late. It was quite a good delivery.
It's more that if you're hitting towards that short boundary, towards the hospitality boxes in the east stand, the ball the wind might be able to give you a little bit of a push in that direction. Indeed.
Outside the offside. Oh,
wow.
What is Shea Hope doing there? Had he decided to leave that and then decided to play a sort of little sweep shot to amuse himself? Or did he really try to play that shot over mid-wicket? I'm not... No, he didn't.
No.
He let it go and then he decided to play a weird cross-batted hoik.
I think the ball was already in the wicketkeeper's hand.
I've never seen someone
played his shot.
shadow bat immediately after the ball has passed the stumps.
Yeah, and that would have been a very strange shot to have played to a ball like that outside the off stump. I have to say that. Good length as well. I don't think it would have resulted in anything good for the batsman had he actually played that shot to the ball. Shazad in to complete the over. Bowls wide of the off stump. He does it again. What's going on out there? It must be a new thing that he's developed. Anyway, that's the end of the 9th over. We have 1 over remaining in the first power play. The West Indies, after winning the toss, choosing to bat, are 43 for 1.
Be pretty fucking grim, necro, cavilt, I'm not quite sure what that means, and true. Umpirebell.com says, have to get my garden done today.
Oh.
The fine tradition of bizarre West Indian leaves.
Yep.
I'm not sure that wasn't.
Mog says, releasing custom murder jingles after the act would be... So I'll be listening to you guys on the mobile app. Fancy the Afghanis for this one. Well, okay. Maybe this is their day. Umpire Bell, I looked at, his first name is Ian, so he's Ian Bell.
Is he really?
I wonder if he umpires or indeed gardens with the same style and elan of England's erstwhile number 3 or 4.
Yes.
I think he'd have different umpires have very different ways of signalling. I imagine his 4 signal would have a great flourish.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be beautiful. It'd be beautifully timed.
Perhaps the way he trims the roses. He trims the roses with a similar cover drive like flourish.
You can imagine the finger coming up like a cover drive, can't you? Beautiful
Well, I
follow
think
through.
he'd hold the pose.
Well, either that or he'd have a magnificent follow through. It is very blustery at Headingley by the looks of things. Just seeing a view of some trees, more than waving in the breeze. I think they're just about to come down, actually. Dorlat will continue from the Kirkstall Lane end into his 5th over. And he's bowling to Lewis. Lewis goes back and defends into the covers. There is no run. Any more tweets?
No, it's all
No.
fairly quiet.
No, indeed, no.
Early.
It is a bit early, but I mean, normally we get a rush at the beginning, don't we? And then you all get a bit lazy, and it tends to fade away, and then it comes back when things get exciting. Anyway, we're just looking at the toss from earlier for some reason. Here comes Dorlat Zadran, and again he stops mid-run up, and I'm guessing again it's because Lewis is not ready. Someone moving behind the bowler's arm. He's still standing there, Lewis, and looking with some consternation up towards the Carnegie Pavilion. Here is Zadran. He will bowl this time, past the umpire, full on leg stump or down the leg side. Well taken by the wicketkeeper, who's claiming a catch. Nigel Long just stands there and says, "Was I born yesterday? I don't think so."
Well, if Long hasn't signalled a wide, so that must have come off the boot.
Indeed it must. The DRS timer is counting down, and Gulberton is showing no signs of reviewing. It was a good take. Let's say that. It's a good take.
Very good take by Ikram Ali Keel, diving away to his right, very low. Yeah, just clipped the pad on the way through. And Ikram did very well.
He did. And no wonder he wanted to claim it as a catch. I'm not sure that he didn't scrape it against the ground, actually, having taken that one-handed as he dived, but it's difficult to say. He may have had his fingers underneath it. In comes Dorlat again, defended on the back foot towards extra cover, and there is no run. 43 for 1. Having a look at this now. No, nothing on the inside edge. It is just flicking the pad. Ultra edge confirms. what Nigel Long already knew. Lewis has come down the wicket to have a look at the pitch and maybe just pat down a couple of indentations, and waits again for Daulat Zadran running in. Quite a quick run up he has. He bowls, good ball, forces him back, and he defends square on the offside. And again, there is no run. 83 miles an hour that from Daulat. Something has tickled Tony. What tickled Tony today?
What's tickled? It's our friend Umpire Ian and his flourishing cover drive of rose trimming. Says, I'll have you know, my roses are the talk of the village and my courgettes are the biggest you've ever seen. Oh. And he does finish that off with a lol.
Yes, well, we do admire a big courgette at Guerrilla Cricket.
And a little red one. Oh no, that was Prince, wasn't it? And that was a Corvette.
Yes, I love courgette. I love courgettes and Corvettes. Slower, shorter delivery, which fools Lewis, who was trying to pull, but it ends up that he's gone through the shot too quickly. Takes it in, low down.
not in that voice. Don't know what that was.
We had a mankini yesterday. We had a
mankini.
today.
We've got zucchini today. Yes, we do.
We don't want to see any more of those. The stomach and the abs, and there is no run.
For any of our American listeners, of course, what we call a courgette is your zucchini.
Yeah, silly name.
I don't mind courgettes when they're sort of thinly sliced and fried.
Oh no, courgettes are lovely in all their forms.
Absolutely.
I'm
a huge courgette fan.
We're going to be off. We're not going to be talking about courgettes forever, although we may continue in the green room. Onto the front foot this time. Lewis defends into the covers. There is no run. That is the end of the opening power play. 10 overs completed. West Indies won the toss, decided to bat. They're 43 for 1. Hope has 9. Lewis has 25. And it's time for a change.
Yeah, let's have a word about how you can support the show.
We need your alternative cricket commentary, bringing you laughs, bringing you jingles, bringing you joy. We are Gorillas. We need your Patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket.
So we're coming in for the 10th over here, the end of the power play. We've got Shy Hope 9 of 15 balls. It's quite a sort of, it's a steady start, not really much going on, a bit like the game really, and the meaning of it for this World Cup.
Oh, I don't know. We are of course accelerating downhill now towards the denouement, the final act, which of course will be the 14th of July. Who have we got before then? Well, we know I'll tell you later. In the meantime, it's going to be Shahzad. He's going to be bowling his second over. He's going to be bowling it to Shy Hope, who's on 9. Hope with his bat torn leans nicely into this and places it nicely between point and cover. But there is a man down at deep extra, and I think that's Rashid Khan. So they will take a single, move the score, as indeed the voice to my left is Jules Farman. Delighted to have you back, Jules.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Almost slipped immediately into ball-by-ball tweeting there. I thought, while I was fumbling with my headphones, like some dodgy old bugger who's accidentally sat down and wondering what the fuck's he supposed to be doing here. 44 for 1, anyway. And to my... there's a cat in the hat. Look at that. Very smart. To my right, Abdullah, the return of Abdullah.
Morning, everyone.
A man who knows more about cricket than most of us have forgotten in a lifetime, or the other way around, I'm not sure. Shahzad's in, left arm, over, onto the back foot goes Lewis. Steers away to cover, and there is no run. Well, it's not been, we've lost the wicket of Chris Gale, Jules, so it's not exactly been entirely without incident.
I'm not sure Chris Gale is exactly at the races. He kind of looked like, I'm just going to go poof. And
he genuinely did look like he was. It was a sort of a I really can't be arsed look about him today, wasn't it? But there you go. So it was. Shahzad's going to be continuing from the football stand end.
That is slightly like Chris Gale's demeanour, though. I just can't be arsed. Oh, look, I've hit a 6 without moving my feet. I've got amazing
like
hand
that.
eye.
In comes Shahzad. Up onto his toes goes Lewis, and he's pushed this away through point, and it's down there to the cover boundary where it is duly fielded, and again it's just a single.
So we're getting to this time of year where everyone tweets pictures of where they are on holiday.
Oh,
so
nice.
Brian 001, Gorilla Cricket lazy. That adjective made me fall off my pool lilo. The weekend has started here in Saudi Arabia. Afghanistan to win over dispirited West Indies. A very beautiful picture of a very nice looking pool, which we would love to be in the 26 degrees of Sydenham heat in the studio today.
Well, no, we got the windows open and everything. Oh, that was sort of swung in from Shazad
Change of
to
pace,
Hope.
change of
Yeah, change of pace, just slower quite. It was only 73 miles an hour, wasn't it? And Hope sort of played all around it, so you can chalk that one up to Shazad. But crucially, though, it didn't disturb any of the furniture on its way through. But yeah, it was a terrific delivery. Got the ball to move in the air as well, didn't he? Which offers some hope to the seamers. The Carnegie Pavilion looking quite magnificent, and the media centre, which of course is now housed in there, looking terrific. In comes Shazad, onto his Hope, onto his toes goes Hope. That is away to mid-wicket, and again they will just take a single, I think, that time. Seems to me they're very content to run singles, but if they pushed it, Abdullah, don't you think there was at least a two in one of those three singles?
Perhaps
later in the match if they needed to, maybe.
Perhaps just the intensity's not quite there today, with not much riding on the game in terms of qualification and that sort of course. It's still a World Cup game, and both teams will be keen to end their campaign on a positive note.
I think you're right. There's intensity. Sometimes you can't manufacture it, can you, Jules? You either got it or you haven't.
Also, it just looks quite sleepy.
In comes Shazad again, and Lewis is onto the back foot, and he's just guided this to mid-off, where it is fielded, and again there is a single. So 4 singles from the over, all to good shots, but all quite leisurely in the way that they were run.
It's like quite a nice Sunday village cricket match at the moment. I feel quite chilled out. Having
what have you just had
time.
for your Sunday lunch then? Having now decided to sit on your deck chair with a large glass of shardy. What have you had for your Sunday lunch?
Do you know what? I haven't had a Sunday lunch for, actually probably about a month. I was about to say for ages, and I just realised I had one last month. But before that, I had one for about a year. I think it's a bit too punchy for a Sunday lunch.
Ranked 59th in the world. He's had a best this World Cup, I think, of 3 for 68. But average is 44 and an economy of 6.4. In
26 degrees heat.
Yeah, no, I tend to eat in the evenings. Gulbuddin Naib is going to be the man brought into the attack again. Right arm, quick medium. The 9 matches he's played, and of course does include this one.
Gulb's first love was only lifting weights. Logar province is his homeland. I guess at bodybuilding he just wasn't great, so someone put a cricket bat in his hand. Gulbuddin, ask his dad, he'll go on. Whoa, la la, Mr. Knight goes on.
And he's going to be bowling from the Kirkstall Lane end, and up onto his toes goes Lewis, and it was a cracked away, but cracked away straight to extra cover.
Of course, Gulbuddin
duly fielded.
Of course, Gulbuddin had a stinker of a day with the ball on Saturday against Pakistan on the same venue.
He did, didn't he? Yeah, it seems to be
conceded a lot of runs towards the end of that game when the game got close. And
was that their last time out? Am I right? Afghanistan.
Yes,
I thought it was. And he's in again, and that was a good ball actually. It's sort of shaped into Lewis, which is really annoying for him.
He's sort of prowling around, isn't he?
He is.
Cat in a hot tin roof.
Caged tiger, or as you say, a cat on a... Again, stood tall to drive it away into the covers, but again, there's no run. Lewis looks a little bit frustrated with that. It's almost as though he's feeling that I'm connecting with the ball, but I keep hitting these fieldsmen. Hot tin roof. If he was a caged tiger, that would be the wrong country, wouldn't it? Gulbuddin, he's in again, and that one, he does find his way through cover. But, hello. The awful... awful fielding is back.
Oh, it's Rashid Khan.
No, it was Rashid Khan again, who's dropped one already today, hasn't he, Jules? Yes, you're right. Well, that went through cover, and Rashid Khan bent to pick it up like a old man. He seemed to just couldn't bend down far enough. Maybe it's just a hint of weariness.
Yeah,
after 9 games.
I was chatting about this the other day actually. He's gone from playing lots of T20 tournaments, the IPL, straight into this. There's a lot of expectation going into him. I think he's just having a bit of a myth.
Well, in comes Gulbuddin again, and Lewis was looking to pull him around the corner, but didn't really connect. Yeah, we just saw a stat flash up on the screen there, Jules, didn't we? Which said he's conceded his net fielding contribution is -12, which is not particularly great, is it? But I suppose it's symptomatic of a team that's, well, struggling to find a win.
Yeah, I think there's lots of things going on with Afghanistan cricket, which I'll probably come out with throughout the day. But I think they're in a spot of bother at the moment, just in terms of the background board as well. But we'll come to that.
In comes Gulbuddin, and again driven. They do take a single this time, even though it was driven straight to mid-off.
It should be interesting to see how they can pick themselves up, if they can pick themselves up after that defeat on Saturday. A game they should have won, and they were in control of going into those
They should have
last
won,
10 overs.
and they should have beaten India. You know, they've
not too sure about India. I think Saturday was the more disappointing one.
Yeah,
I
possibly.
think they were in a better position.
But they've been in positions. They've been in positions where you really thought they can do this.
I thought in the India game they were never ahead of the game. They were sort of there or thereabouts. But
that's true.
On Saturday they were in a commanding position, unable to finish the job.
Yeah, just haven't had the depth or the calmness under fire, I suppose.
Experience, I guess.
There is a slip in place for Gulbuddin. And this one beats the outside edge, and Ikram Ali Kil flings his head back in frustration as he takes that, and he realises that was very close. But it does conclude that over.
We've got some friends on Cricket Tracker.
Marvellous.
Wahid Ban, hello. Afghan Tana, hi. And he's hi from Germany. Hello there from Germany. And then on the Twitter sphere, we have Andrew Veer. Even this game helps the workday go quicker. I started to think I'll get through the days afterwards.
After the World Cup?
Yeah.
Well, you've got the Ireland
the
test.
Gorilla Cometer. On the Gorilla Cometer. Oh, my life.
Yeah, Gorilla. Well,
there you go.
Thank you for that. But don't forget, we've got we'll be covering Ireland and England. We'll be covering all of the Ashes. We're not going to leave you. No, no, no. We'll be here. Mohammed Nabi. We're going to see a bit of off spin.
The gods made Muhammad Nabi, and they saw that he was good. He came to play with bats and ball with a style like silk and wood. When losers say shit's house, well, you know that it's a lie. The gods made Muhammad Nabi, and he's never.
Well, he's bowling from the football stand end. And he's going to be bowling to Evan Lewis, who's quite nicely set actually on 30 off 35. 50 up, of course, now for the West Indies. They 50 for just the loss of Chris Gale, much to the disappointment of many around the world, I think, who were hoping he might finish with a flourish. But it's a bit of a whimper, really, as this one's.
So from the West Indies, he's got Fabian Allen. Got some slight technical bits and pieces going on here, so just bear with us. For Afghanistan,
just fenced away to cover, and there's no run.
TV umpire says my picks for the tournament emerging players, as players who appeared in the IPL can't be selected. Dan Shahidi for South African Dusan.
Oh yes,
yeah,
I like the look of him early on when I saw him at the Oval. As this one is flighted in nicely, quite full, but Lewis digs it out from his toes away to deep cover, and they will take a single.
Sri Lanka Avishka Fernando, Bangladesh Saifuddin or Mostadek, and Pakistan was Afridi or Haris Sahel as being the sort of decent newcomers.
Haris Sahel, I think, had a very good World Cup, hasn't he? He's looked very stylish. Mackle said something there, but as we all have headphones on, we could see his lips moving but not hear what he said. Harry played in the last World Cup as well, did Haris Sahel, as Shai Hope guides this down to long on, and they will jog another easy single. Yeah, they're not setting off to run looking like they've even got the intent of wanting to make two, have they? Which I think, if I was Phil Simmons, and I was their new coach, As forward comes Lewis. And again, down to long off.
I just wonder whether
once again it's a single. Same fielder, it's different position because we've got a right-hander and a left-hander operating. That's all. If you think I've lost the plot, I haven't. Well, I've lost the plot generally, but
But the fielding positions are
instant.
still staying there. You're right.
Let me see. They've got 3 on the leg side, and on the off, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the off. In comes Nabi, and solidly forward is Shy Hope. Very correct indeed. Just pushes it back to the bowler.
I just wonder whether this is Mohammad Nabi's last World Cup game at 34, whether he'll be around in 4 years' time.
I would think it possibly is, so we would wish him well for that. And again, this is pushed back to him. And for a 34-year-old, he bent his back down and fielded that very nicely indeed.
I think you might be being a bit pessimistic here. I have visions of him being wheeled out in 4 years' time. I will play in this next World Cup.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing him in 2030 running into bowl on his mobility scooter with a brand new nut in his basket on the front, which he just picks out at the last minute.
Probably with the rest of the Afghanistan side, unless they work out what they're doing and get some of the young blood through.
Yeah, there's been. I mean, I think you've been doing some research on it, so I definitely don't want to steal your thunder. But there's a whole discussion between Phil Simmons and the selection committee, and one of the selection committee kind of got fired, and they're sending home 2 players, and it's all a bit messy, isn't it, behind the scenes there?
I think plenty will be revealed after this game.
Well, this is what Phil Simmons said. As this is again pushed away by Lewis straight to extra cover, and therefore no run. 53 for 1, the West Indies, going along at just a smidge over 4 and over. For some reason we're seeing the time between deliveries 42 seconds.
I do love the random.
Again, it looks soft bit of fielding at cover. Rashid Khan is riding the extra cover boundary. Gulbadin looks a bit miffed, and so he probably should.
Stats that come out with.
Well, that strikes me. Oh, yeah, 43. I'll tell you in a moment. As this one's in, and this one again is because that was lazy fielding.
So Mog's got an alternative suggestion. I can't help but think these dead rubber games should be just knocked off in an afternoon with a bunch of super overs.
Yeah,
especially if West Indies and West.
How would you do that, Mog? That's a fairly interesting thought. As in comes Gulbadin, and once again he fields in a sprightly manner with the old 34-year-old bones as they creaked their way over to field off his own bowling. How would you do that, Mog? Would you just have it on one day in one stadium, and then sort of just collect the dead rubbers together, so at least the crowd would see a few overs of cricket?
Like a round robin, that'd be great.
In comes Gulbadin, and this one is away through extra cover. I think it might go all the way. Rashid Khan's going to have to really motor, and he can't. And it's gone all the way. Well, it laboured its way all the way for 4.
4. Good God, yeah.
I love the fact there was like an Afghan dad in the crowd just looking like a disappointed father at Rashid Khan there. To be fair, that was probably the hardest fielding chance he's had.
Well, he's got a lot of ground to cover down there.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of ground to cover.
He's only got little legs.
And he's only got little legs. You're right, he's not had a great day. I suppose I was probably a bit unfair on the extra cover fieldsman in the first place who dived, because that was away from him. Pulled this time though. Is that pulled all the way? Has that gone? I think it has, hasn't it? Please don't tell me we're looking at a replay, in which case we are. Lord above. Hang on. No, it isn't a replay. It was a 6.
You haven't had a signal.
Well, that's rather strange. Let's see what happened. Yeah, Gulbadin bowls it, and it was just hauled away 72 metres.
Sweet Jesus, over the line.
That was a terrific shot. That was away into the terrace there, and really got hold of it, did Evan Lewis. So he moves on to 44 with a 4 and a 6. What's Gulbadin got into response to that? A good, fairly loopy, full-length ball, which is steered away to point, and there's no rot. So he finishes with a dot, but has conceded 12 off that over. West Indies move on to 65 for 1. The run rate has increased a little now to about 4.6.
I mean, meanwhile, Lewis is now 44 of 44 balls, and I don't understand why Gulbadin is bowling at the moment. But hey, you know, when you've got two decent spinners and you think a spinner might do well, let's not put them on. Let's be too logical.
Well, no, I agree. Yeah. It's not too... I haven't seen too much in the wicket that should hold any fears for the batting side. And I think Chris Gale might well be sitting on the balcony now if he's had his shower and got his feet up for 6 more. 307th 6 of the tournament.
Great stroke. Great.
Might be thinking he's possibly missed out today. Nabi and Shy Hope is straight down to meet him, and that's gone all the way straight back over his head.
Great use of the feet.
It was terrific. He's down 2 or 3 strides down. Premeditated, do you think, or did he just read it, saw where it was going to pitch and thought, I'm having all of this?
No, I just think he fancied it. First ball of the over, taking on the off spinner, and
tucked into it like Paul Sterling at the breakfast buffet he did. In comes Nabi again, and that was just steered very, very nicely down to oh Lord bless you, down to mid-on. You alright, Abdullah?
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Hay fever or?
No, just one of those things.
Just one of those things.
Bless you anyway.
You get now again 7, so 7 off the over from Nabi. Evan Lewis will be back on to strike. Let's push that run rate up over 5, and the West Indies starting to get their skates on a wee bit now. So perhaps all that our mutterings of lack of intent were a bit harsh. Perhaps they knew there was going to be more opportunity. They just generally seem more comfortable hitting 6s and 4s and not so anxious to run the 2s and 3s, the 2s and 3s. As that one is nicely played and a much better ball from Nabi.
Should be interesting to see if Afghanistan qualify for the next World Cup, assuming they maintain this 10-team format.
Yes.
That's a
Nabi
really
again,
good
his
question.
right arm around to the left-handed Lewis, who I think was looking to free his arms, give himself a bit of room, and steer it away into the covers, but all he was able to do was to send it bobbling its way back to the bowler. We've just seen a replay of, as Abdullah rightly pointed out, some magical footwork. This one, Lewis leans into, it's down to cover. Again, it's a bit of a fumble, like picking up a hot potato. Didn't get it cleanly in his hands. And a single was once again easily taken, 73 for 1. Nabi will be in again from the football stand end. That one's a good ball. Keeps Hope honest, and it's just pushed to mid-wicket for no run. So that concludes that Nabi over. He's gone for 8. 73 for 1, the West Indies. We're getting towards 5. Hope on 19 off his 25. Evan Lewis on 45, back after injury, of course, and looking the part, Jules.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben just picked up a good point now, Abdullah. What is the format going to be for the next World Cup? Do we know that yet? Has that been decided by the ICC?
I think they're going to maintain a 10-team format, and I think that's the way they're going to go in the 50-over cricket.
Have they not seen our T-shirt? We believe in a bigger World Cup. This partnership, by the way, is 52 or 58 balls. So, and they've looked calm, assured, comfortable, and now happy to take the bowling on. We are going to see Gulbadine again. Now for 15 off his 2. He's bowling his 3rd over, and this is just steered to mid-wicket. There's no run.
Arthur Shear says, poor timing for the Nabi jingle. Had to sacrifice a storm and eagle with my bare hands to disapproving glares from my fellow spectators.
Oh.
Bless him.
Has he got us on are we on sort of what, not on headphones then? You haven't got a sort of all over storm on, so that'll confuse people. And how's Sterling doing as this one is pushed away by Lewis down to mid-on, and there will be a single, easiest of singles taken.
Evil Scooter says, my pick before the tournament for player that would really emerge was Nichols of New Zealand. Whoops.
Henry Nichols, yeah, he's not
only had a couple of
really
innings.
lit things up. Yeah, that's true, very true.
I'm sure he'll make a contribution in the semi-final if he gets the chance.
You do. Well, a reminder, of course, that the West Indies today won the toss and didn't really have any hesitation on what looks like to be set fair as a beautiful day to bat. Hope guides this down to mid-on. They take another easy single. There has been a tendency, though, hasn't there, Abdullah, for tracks to slow down a wee bit. We saw it very much in the England game at Durham.
Yes, I'm with you. Batting gets harder as the game progresses.
Yeah, so batting first seems to become a choice. You have to be worried that, and I have a slight concern for England. I'll finish the thought in a moment as Gulbuddin is in and he's whipped off his toes by Evan Lewis, but it's straight down to Rashid Khan, who's patrolling that deep mid-wicket boundary, and it will be just a single. Yeah, the thing is, when you don't win the toss, it's very hard then not to have a psychological feeling that, oh, something's already gone wrong. How do you get over that? If winning the toss does seem to be, particularly at the moment, it's quite a factor.
I think you have to prepare both ways. If you lose the toss, how are you going to try and win the game?
Yeah. Yep. You do indeed. Gulbuddin's going to be continuing. He's got 2 balls left of his third over. And he's in from the Kirkstall Lane end. And solidly and correctly forward comes Shea Hope. It's away into the offside and there's no run.
Arthurshire has just given us a quick update from Stormont.
Oh, splendid.
Strong start for Ireland, 50 without loss after 10 overs.
How's Sterlo doing?
He is 22 and McCollum is 28.
Come on, Sterlo. So Gulbuddin's going to be in again. Hope forward. Ball rolls its way to point. There is no run. So Gulbuddin has completed his third over. They're just 3 from it this time. He's gone for 18. So
Lad was sent home. We'll just wait for a drinks break. So it might take a little bit of an explanation.
Is that on a tweet or is you're going to
that is on a tweet. And there is, but it might take more.
Even my maths can work out. He's been going at 6 and over. 76 for 1, the West Indies. Hope on 20, Lewis on 47.
Mark, I will come to why Mohammed Shahzad the change.
Well, I know there was issues of fitness and concerns there, but I bet that was probably a front, was it? The real story is more salacious, more interesting.
What a lovely word, salacious.
Well, if it's salacious, then it would be interesting, but I doubt it is.
I'm not sure about salacious. Fitness does come into it, and someone just being a bit of a diva, I think. But
okay.
And annoying a few people.
Oh, this is intriguing.
I'd like to build up the suspense.
Keep teasing us, Stuart. Give us little hints during this next hour. Are we on a drinks break? No.
No, we're not, unfortunately.
We are to the offside, so they have a kind of a short third man, a cover and an extra cover in place there.
I just wonder what's next for Afghanistan.
It's not. Now let's have a look. There's a fielding change, and Afghanistan they're just bringing a man across from the onside. Is in. Lewis is forward again. This is away into the offside, and they will take a single.
What they do need to do is sort out some marketing so we can all buy one of those amazing old style cricket hats, because they are bloody great. They are.
They are.
We'll come back to. I'll do some research.
No run
after this tournament. Obviously, they've got Test status, but they won't be involved in the World Test Championship. That starts with the Ashes.
Okay, Nabi.
Generally, I was like,
no,
I'm going to meet this man. I've got this image of a fantastic array of hats.
That's up to you, obviously.
Like Imelda Marcus with shoes.
He is, nonetheless. He is a hat man. As this is pushed away to mid-on, and it's another easy single for Shai Hope. He's on to 21. Lewis has
between the next sort of stint and find out what's
going on. We should get
on.
together with Roger. He's a aficionado of hats and headwear in cricket.
I think meant just
been gunning along at a quicker rate. He's 48 or 52. Mohammed Nabi appears to have established an element of control on things. As Lewis is forward, pushed to mid-wicket, no run.
Very different atmosphere from Saturday when Pakistan were playing Afghanistan. That was noisy. Plenty of feistiness in the crowd as well.
Indeed. He's in again. Lewis forward. So rinse and repeat that. Out away into the offside, no run.
Yeah, both sides fans are not shy in coming backwards and making a little bit of crowd noise, are they?
No, indeed not. Once again, Naby's in. Ooh, he dragged that down a wee bit, but Lewis was onto the back foot to work it into the onside this time. So Naby, who gets through his over at a right old rate of knots, has finished 78 for one. We do have a strategic advertising break stroke hydration break. So Jules, tell us all.
Do you know what? We've actually got various people pontificating as to why he was sent back.
Oh, you're going to keep the...
Short Third Man has said he was about to expose the ICC's nefarious inner workings. Well, I think a few films and a few disgruntled ICC ex-members have got down that. But what had happened? There was some issue with the bus at Cardiff. I will add a disclaimer here. This may not be 100% accurate. I'm only getting this from hearsay. There's my disclaimer. So but there was some issue with the bus in Cardiff. I think that was for the Sri Lanka match, wasn't it? And the players had to actually get off and walk, with the exception of Shazad. He said, "I don't want to walk down because." Well, the story was that he was having some problems with his leg. I think of carving a certain amount of distance. It wasn't anything mad, but it was a bit of a ball ache before the start of a match. All the players got off and started to walk down. However, the story goes that he was just being a bit of a diva. Long story short, the rest of the team walk. He gets some other mode of transport to the ground. This then subsequently caused some disturbance in the dressing room, and he kind of is pissed off the board anyway, and they were like, "Right, on your bike, son, if you've got an injury, you go back." He then went back and said, I'm not injured, and it all got a little bit handbags. But I think it's not going to be too distinct from also, although not really related, a lot of the Afghan team are really pissed off with the changes of captaincy that happened about a month beforehand. I mean, Rashid Khan spoke out verbally about it. He's still on the side because he's a decent player, but there is discontent in the ranks.
So was this on the day of the game against Sri Lanka?
Apparently so, yeah.
Okay, because I remember I may have been going to Eid prayers prior to the game or something along those lines.
Well, the thing, the one piece of information we don't have there is how long was
that was Eid, the festival, and I remember the Afghani team coming up arriving to the ground in traditional clothes and
the walk.
I was told, and I can't remember. That's the only problem.
I mean, was it like, if it had been like 3 or 4 miles, and you'd probably think, well, hang on, if it had been 100 yards, you'd get
have the ins and outs.
I mean, if you're dragging your coffin along with all your stuff in, that would I'd say that would be pretty unreasonable.
I mean, like I say, I don't know the ins and outs, but that was as the.
Oh, for goodness sake!
I don't think it was 3 or 4 miles. I likewise don't think it's about 100 yards. I think it was less than a mile, but there was some issue
with their kit. Or
I really I didn't have accuracy, but there's no smut in it, so that's the sort of level of accuracy, but probably more reliable than the Daily Mail or the Guardian.
Okay, and can you reveal your sources?
No. Story goes.
How accurate is this story?
I would say it's
sources validated.
Source isn't validated. I would say a Sun-style
a spokesman said.
A spokesman said he then went to a dodgy party and then had to make his excuses and leave. In political disgrace. No, that's not the case at all.
Well, we are. So we've been speaking a fair bit about Rashid Khan. Jules is very excited. She's punching air in delight to my left. I think that's what you were doing, wasn't it?
Yes, please. The best of bowler in the whole silly world, yeah. Rashid Khan. Yes, please. What you gonna do when he bowls to you, yeah?
It was more just a slow sort of, punch in the air. Not necessarily at Rashid Khan, just the fact that they've brought in another spinner.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, it's the 20-year-old ex-spinner anyway.
He's the dream Afghanistan shares. He's the hope for tomorrow. Rashid Khan, yes, please.
Rashid Khan, yes, please. Well, he's going to be bowling from the Kirkstall Lane end, or is he bowling from the other end? And a great aerial view there, which seems to have disappeared. I will let you know in just a moment once I get a little sense of mid-geography. He's bowling from the Kirkstall Lane end towards the football stand end, and this is worked away backward a square by Hope. They have very, very happy 4th of July to our many American listeners, I'm delighted to say. My apologies earlier for comments about courgettes and zucchinis. I think if you look back over the scorecard, you won't have seen too many today.
July the 4th.
July the... Oh, of course. Oh! 4th of July. And a very taken one. And they have come back for 2. A fairly rare sighting of that strange beast at the 2.
Crikey. Note it. In your
Note
diary.
it down. In comes Rashid again. Down the track comes Hope. Straight back to Rashid Khan, who fields off his own bowling.
Evil Scooter said, I had no idea New Zealand would be so awful with this tournament.
Yeah, they seem to. Well, they've just declined a bit, which I think would be very disappointing for them. As this one, well, that's the googly from Rashid Khan. And
leg break.
Was it a leg break?
Yep, 100% sure. It went away.
Oh, I must have.
So noise.
I saw it come back that way.
As the debate goes on between what ball that was between Abdullah and Tony.
In comes Rashid Khan again. That was definitely a leg break. And Shy Hope is tucked in behind it, away into the covers, but no run.
Andrew Bird says, listening from Taipei Airport, very nice, whilst waiting for my delayed flight to Auckland. I hope it gets resolved soon. Thanks for staving off the boredom.
In comes Rashid Khan. And that one goes straight on, and Hope is nicely behind it, no run.
To prepare everybody for the little patter of feet from Knuckle, there appears to be an issue with Facebook Live at the moment.
Is there?
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, there was all day yesterday. It was a complete nightmare. It was nothing to do with us in that particular instance. That one's worked away backward a square. That's fielded there, and there will just be a single. So that concludes a very rapid over from, not rapid in terms of the speed of bowling, but rapid in how quickly he gets through it. Rashid's gone for 3 off his first over. Will be just sniffing that 50 now and wanting to make sure he gets there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done quite well. It's not been a crash bash sort of inning.
Very tidy. West Indies are 81-4-1 with 18 overs complete. Hope on 24. Evan Lewis on 48. So
it's just been quite gentle. You look at the score and think, oh, hello, you're on 48. Where's that come from?
A Joe Root style innings. You suddenly look up and he's got to 50. I'm just having a look now on Crick Tracker just to check. As far as I can see, Facebook Live is blurry, is what Nazif Ahmed was saying on Crick Tracker. As Nabi's in, and this is a way through mid-wicket. Again, they'll take an easy single.
Mayank Jha, back to you. Mohammed Altaf, West Indies to win today.
Yeah, you're reading up from the bottom there. I read the last one just because that was the one that said Facebook is live but blurry. Okay, where are we? Oh, here's the further away.
It's like a moon ball.
And Ikram Ali Keel had to reach out to his left to grab it in his gloves. Game plan. Time to shift gear. Right, well, I wonder
thanks for that.
If they didn't know that. As Nabi, well, that started wide of off stump and moved further away.
It's like a moon ball.
And Ikram Ali Keel had to reach out to his left to grab it in his gloves. This one is swept, and swept though straight to backward square. And did they take a single, Abdullah?
Yes, they did.
Well done, they did indeed take a single. So move on to 82.
Of course, both these sides had to go through the World Cup qualifiers to make it here. And Afghanistan beat West Indies in the final of that tournament last March.
Evan Lewis as Nabi's around the wicket to him. Pushed to mid-wicket, no run. So he's still on that 48. I think Evan Lewis won't be too troubled. He seems a well-organised, calm, collected individual, doesn't he? And he's
forgotten about that actually. Well, it's reminded about the qualifiers actually.
Nabi in again. This one, Lewis is forwards. Been picking when and how to open his shoulders today. Given a bit more air by Nabi, and Lewis respects that and reaches forward and drops the bat on it. Straight to cover. Najib is the man who falls over backwards as he fields, but the West Indies are not in the mood to risk running on a misfield. So just a single off a very, very tidy over from Mohammed Nabi.
Just a correction from me, when you said did they take a single, I don't think they did, because
no, because
left-hander faced all the balls in the over.
Yep.
Apart from the first one.
Not to worry. I'll have that one in return for the googly or leg break debate.
Okay.
But I have to
yeah.
I honestly, it was my eyesight.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought it had moved that way. So I could have got it wrong. I am not above making errors in cricket and in life generally, I have to tell you. There we go. 82 for 1. And this one is bowled by Rashid Khan, pushed away to deep mid-wicket. They will take a single, so hopes on to 26. Evan Lewis still looking for that 50 if he can get there.
Sounds like we're about to enter in a counselling session for you there.
No, you're all right.
You're all right,
just
darling.
a general...
It's all good.
a general musing as I reach the end of what appears to be my spell here for 10 overs. I don't know in the green room what's coming next, but there'll be an activity at the door soon. As this one, Lewis will take a single. He's just guided it really down to backward square, so he'll move on to 49. West Indies 84 for 1. Rashid Khan has gone for 2 singles. This probably is about the time that the West Indies will be looking to move things along even more. Going at under 5 and over. This one is looks a quicker one to me. 61, yeah, slightly quicker from Rashid Khan, 61 miles an hour as he pushed that through. And Shea Hope, again, very solid in his defence. In skips Rashid Khan. That was definitely a leg break, and that was steered to mid-on and an easy single.
He regularly has his hands on his head after he bowls, Rashid Khan. Always feels he's in the business.
Yeah, well, that's a good sign, because he's definitely not been at his best in this tournament, and if he's feeling like he's going to take a wicket with every ball, that suggests his confidence is unshaken, as this one is steered away down to deep cover, and they will take another single. So Lewis has his 50. Well played him.
When you're 50, sometimes you drink till you pass out on the floor. Now your liver's destroyed and you got hemorrhoids and you can barely get it up anymore.
As Rashid is in it, well, he was trying to, Hope was trying to whip him away into the onside, and it was just too quick for him, and was therefore no run. Now I think we're due a change here. Yes, we are. Who is lurking? Knuckle is lurking. Andy Ward is lurking. I'm pretty sure I'm due a break. Do you want to put on?
So I'll just read out some tweets for you here. So
yeah,
Mark
we'll do
Zip, he
tweets.
says, up at silly o'clock and with you this July the 4th, driving around Woodstock, New York, putting up signs for the huge Declare Your Vinyl Independence Records yard sale. Looking forward to confusing some patrons with your commentary and jingles later. Why do we have World Record Store Day sometime in April, when actually if it's Independence Day you should really celebrate it on July the 4th, but we'll come to that later. That's one from Using here. I'll pass over to you, Andy.
Okay, yes, speaking of that last jingle, it's me, Andy. Get it quietly. Thank you to Tony and Abdullah. They'll be back later. Jules is going to hop off to jingles, and Knackle is going to come in on your tweets as Nabi comes in to bowl round arm, and it's cut hard to cover, but he picks it up well, and there's no run.
Oh yeah,
Drop down towards point, and again, a good bit of fielding, particularly by Afghanistan standards in this tournament, and there's no run. 86 for 1 in the 21st over.
Zef and a few others who are having Facebook issues. We believe it's an issue either with Facebook, or if it's just blurry, it might just be an issue with the strength of your internet connection.
That's what I would have said, yeah. Nabi right arm round, tosses it up again, and that one is turned and jumped a little bit. Lewis on 50 off 65 is a little bit slow for my liking. You know how I like things to be done. Crash bang, what a picture, exactly. Nabi's in again, and that one seemed to come on with the arm, and Lewis chops it out to deep point, but he will get a single.
Yeah, much more fluent than his. I tweeted out the link to our YouTube channel from our Twitter feed, so you can go and watch there as well.
Always another option. Bit of turn on that one from Nabi, but Lewis left it alone.
It's 50 the other day.
This is more fluent, is it?
Certainly the impression that I've got from just watching him. Everything looks a little bit more in rhythm than it did against Bangladesh.
Nabi is back over the wicket to Hope, who goes down on one knee and plays a square drive out towards deep point. It will be one, it shouldn't be two. I don't think it is. Yeah, Lewis seemed to be quite close to a run of ball sort of 20 minutes ago, but it looks like Rashid and Nabi have just slowed things down a little bit.
Yeah, Nabi's been superb throughout the tournament. He's bowling a little bit slower than most spinners. He's getting a little bit of drift and, as you say, sharp turn every now and again.
Which is unusual.
In the IPL to how he does in 50 over and Test cricket. He bowls with a lot more air, bowls a lot slower, and tries to give it more of a rip. But he's got a couple of different modes of bowling. A very experienced man.
He bowls slower in 50 and Test, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
And a little bit not quite as flat. Linux Leo is trying to confuse us all with some very long German words, which is all.
For him, he's not the biggest turner. That one comes off a thickish inside edge, but mid-on is in the circle, so there's no run. That is the end of the over. It's 88 for 1. Just 2 off that one.
Well, I mean, he bowls very different, well and good. She's hoping for Grubby to come on tweets and get upset by the possibility of long German words. I don't think Grubby is in today, so you'll have to wait for that.
I'll upset him directly by tweeting them at him.
At Grubby78. Mog says, well, if that's the case with Mr. Shehzad, he's been a bit of a dick. Also have the former West Indian administrators taken over Afghan cricket. Afghan cricket have plenty of administrative issues without importing them. As Phil Simmons may well spill the beans once his contract ends with Afghan cricket.
Well, all sorts of beans might be spilled after this played out to cover for no run.
As he's come back onto bowl.
Don't joke about the Taliban with Mujibur Rahman. Don't joke about the Taliban. He's not
a tournament. Mujib, who I've been very impressed with as this tournament, 19 years old, yes. He's right arm over the wicket with his front of the door spinners, and that was bad. He's not, and that one again out the front of the hand just turns away a little bit. It's played down to backward points left hand, and Hope will pick up a single. Also steady rather than explosive from Hope, 29 off 43.
Yeah, more typical of Shea Hope's one-day international batting. Certainly in this tournament where he's been going about 4 runs and over. He has improved his strike rate over the last couple of years. Was in very good form going into the World Cup, but seems a little bit stymied in this World Cup for whatever reason.
Yes, almost everyone has gone in with this kind of batsman at number 3 as Mujib comes around the wicket this time and goes back Lewis, and that's a bit of a quick run, but it's not the best throw and they get through. Whereas England being just a notch above everybody with their batting. You know, Joe Root still strikes around 85 to 90 even when he's playing the anchor role.
Well, he can go at a run a ball without seemingly trying.
He can, and that's his great strength. And I think it's been well, they're in the semi-finals, so they could still prove me wrong, but it's been New Zealand's weakness, I think, that they feel they need Williamson and Taylor. Mujib a bit quicker and a bit flatter, and Hope plays it back to him for no run. Or rather, at least that one of those doesn't take more initiative when they're batting together.
Not helped by the fact that Williamson has essentially been an at opener, given how poor the New Zealand opening pair has been.
It's so poor that one of them wasn't even out yesterday and didn't review. That one's... Well, I don't know what Hope was doing there. He kind of lunged at the ball, had a bit of a flick rather than an authoritative swing, and the ball span past the outside edge through to the keeper with a little flick. You can see the ball spinning away, and it does just enough from Mujib.
I wonder if Ikram had taken that cleanly, whether there would have been a chance for stumping.
If he'd been very quick, perhaps. He's got a slip in now, which is a testament to the bowling, and that one does a little bit too short though, and it's played out to backward point.
Mujib's bowling, he's bowled better than Rashid Khan throughout this tournament, and it's not really been spoken about that much, that how economical he has been.
He's been very...
For a single, that would be 91 for 1 off 22.
I think the way Afghanistan have played this tournament, what has not come to the fore is actually...
He's good in the last few games. Really, even against England when he came back into the team, none for 44 in the context of that game was very good. He did have Roy Bairstow in a little bit of trouble
at
Old Trafford in his first spell, and he bowled beautifully against India, dismissed Rohit Sharma early, bowled beautifully against Pakistan. He's been very impressive, whereas Rashid's had a tough tournament. And Nazif Ahmed says, actually the blurriness improves the look, like Vaseline smeared on a camera lens.
Well, for some of us, yes.
We are in soft focus. Dalim Bisa and Zul.
I'll play it the respect it deserves. So in just a second, as Rashid comes in, he's also got a slip, and as Hope goes back and beats short mid-wicket, and he'll get a single up to long on. But India seem to have the option, but again, India could prove me wrong. They're likely to play England in the semi-final. I feel there's a little bit of a stubbornness to India to stick to their plan irrespective.
Mondal and Bruce Monaghan also say hi on our own Facebook live feed, facebook.com/Gorilla Cricket.
I don't want to divert too much from this game. The only team who did not open with a spinner to Roy Bairstow, is that firstly, I'm right that India didn't do that.
They didn't. The West Indies didn't either, because they don't have one.
They didn't have.
Whoever you play out of those two early on, obviously very fine bowlers, and certainly
Shami's done particularly well since coming in, obviously.
Yes, not particularly useful.
Rashid comes in, a very full ball, and it's a good shot from Lewis. Turns it down to a long leg. There's no one there. There's no one there. There's no one there, and it's 4.
4. Good God, yeah.
Rashid just can't believe that a full toss on leg stump has been played down to long leg.
What a shock.
I mean, when you have Bumrah and Shami or Bumrah and Bouvi, you're likely to use those two.
Be what Roy and Bairstow kind of feast on. A bit of pace at the start of the innings, and the spinners, particularly anybody who can turn the ball away, have had some joy in other games. Rashid,
particularly good at the death, but has been very good with the new ball. I think Bouvi showed his worth the other day.
That one's going straight on from Rashid to the right-hander. It's played down to backward point for no run. Nonetheless, it does seem to comes in. It'll step across from Lewis, who punches that one up to a long off. That would be an easy single.
Yeah, both Shadab Khan of Pakistan and Imran Tahir of South Africa got wickets dismissed those pair early. There could be they could be the option of using Yuzvendra Chahal early
yes, I think so. Yeah.
To the right-handers.
And it was also noticeable in that game. Rashid's going to come in again, I'm sure. He does. It's a full ball, turned in a little bit, play out to mid-wicket, and Knackle mentioned the possibility of a stumping off a ball a few balls ago. We had a replay of that, and I think the player's foot was grounded, even though the keeper fumbled the ball. But I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to come back to England and India later. Let's focus on this game. Afghanistan have a slip, and 4 men in the ring, as they of course have to, covered up by the batsman. Back to the bowler, no run, 6 off the over. It's 97 for 1 after 23.
Yole TV umpire says Shahzad is one of the few non-Australian cricketers who have a whole section of incidents and suspensions on Wikipedia. Worth a mention. He's also had a few disagreements with Afghanistan, the Afghanistan Cricket Board in the past. He has. Most notably, he was told to move from Pakistan to Afghanistan if he wanted to continue to be considered for selection, and obviously his fitness has been a long-standing concern.
Can I just come in there? I think half the Afghan team have been done for interventions and sanctions in one way or another, from either misdemeanors on the field to drug taking to various things. So I would be a little bit.
It's true, and there's a lot of power plays being played by the current Afghan board chairman, the man who never ever smiles, Azizullah Fazli.
Mujib, another full ball, and that is punched by Lewis up to long off. It'll be another easy single.
Lennox Lear on the 4th says, if this year's fashtastic 4th of July craptacular doesn't kill the whole concept, I don't know what will.
I did quite like the tea celebration by the American.
Oh, Alex Morgan, that was very good.
Yeah. I mean, that's digging up old history a little bit, but 200 years old. Mujib, quicker ball, it's swept away. Is the fielder going to get there? Yes, he is. Good bit of fielding. That should be just 1 down to short fine leg.
Rashid Khan's got a little bit of his fielding mojo back after a rather iffy start, that poor dropped catch and then a couple of fumbles in the outfield.
He certainly would let one right through his legs in the outfield. The catch, it was probably moderately hard. It wasn't a dolly, but it wasn't a hard one either. Mujib's in again, and no, he bowls a beautiful length, and that one's back to the bowler, and there is no run. It's 99 for 1.
This is what Mujib and Nubby have been so impressive with, is their ability to get that little bit of dip, which means it's never quite there to drive. I think Rashid Khan has bowled a little bit too quick throughout the tournament.
Yes, that one's onto the leg zone. It is going to be a wide, I'm sure. We don't get the signal, but I'll stake my reputation on it, and yes, it is.
West Indies 100 brought up with a wide.
With a wide, Jules.
Sorry,
that's right. Mujib comes in again.
You're staking your reputation on.
Yes, I know. And a bit of turn on that one into the left-handed batsman. Strikes him on the pad, but clearly going down the leg.
Right, let's do a whole feast of jingles here.
Oh, a feast on. Mujib's in again, and that's played back to the bowler. So continue the feast.
I was actually trying to find where the 100 was.
Oh, we don't tend to do it for Team 100.
Oh, really?
Well, you're the boss. You're in the jingle chair. You can do what you like.
Yeah, I've got the 100.
It seemed to me to be hit in front of off stump with the ball angling in towards, and yes, they have reviewed, and I am not surprised, and I think this has got a good chance.
Why did Nigel Long not give that because he thought it was sliding down leg?
Who knows? I mean, the only thing is he is a bit down the wicket. But it's so full. I don't think there's going to be any danger of going over the top of the stumps.
Well,
yeah. That's a decent shout. I think that might be out. He's gone down to a very full ball. I'd be reviewing that one. Lewis came down the track and almost yorked himself. And that just looked pretty good to me. So my money's going to be on an out. Ian Gould is the third umpire. Gunner's going to run it through. It's very full. I don't think there's much danger of an inside edge either, no. And it's hit him on the back
Oh,
leg.
is he saying that's turned too much and is missing off stump?
No, I doubt it. That's just out for me.
This is one of those that could look a very odd not out decision. It's another.
Flick the front pad first. So is that,
if it's flicked the front pad first, that's even more out.
I think yes. I think what you've seen as a little bit of turn is actually it flicking off the bottom of the front pad. Let's have a look. It's impact umpire's call. Impact umpire smashing middle stump. Absolutely smashing middle stump. But well.
Yeah, Lewis managed to heave himself bodily outside the line of off stump and just stay outside the line. That's a very good call by Nigel Long.
Oh no! I am absolutely not having umpire's call. They do this on TV a lot. It's umpire's call. He could have been right or right. You can't be wrong.
Well, yes, I think that is a bit of an odd one. Is that I don't know why they give a bit of tolerance there, because it should, in theory, be. I think what that essentially means is that slightly less than 50% of the ball was in line with off stump.
I know. Yes,
it's a quirk of how DRS works.
I understand that. It's my point is simply that when it is umpire's call, the umpire is by default right, whatever he said. So the umpire can say, zibble, zibble, zip, I'm from Mars with underpants on my head, that's not out. And Silverman could go, good call.
Back at the cricket, it's 100 for 1 of the 24 over.
Yeah, but...
Frankly, I think that he needed to have underpants on his head to not give that out, in my opinion.
Lewis managed to get himself just outside the line of off stump, but certainly not the worst DRS review we've seen.
Oh, and the slip was in play there as the thick edge from Hope went past his right hand. It is going to go down to the boundary. Insult to injury for Afghanistan. That's 4.
I'm looking over a 4.
And I think a 4-leaf clover in the back pocket of Evan Lewis as well to escape that LBW. But we'll move on, as Ian Botham likes to say.
Yeah, a little bit of turn, a little bit of bounce from Rashid Khan. It was never really a chance for slip, but it flashed past him.
In the game, though. Slips in the game. That's what they'll be saying to each other. And a couple of mini opportunities. Oh, and that one's a pull shot is also going to go for 4. Also was not very far away from mid-wicket, who maybe I'm being harsh, was a little bit slow to move there. I think he's hit that pretty hard, to be fair. Let's have a look from this angle. Ooh, I don't know. Let me say an exceptional fielder might have.
It would have been a hell of a chance.
It would have
been a hell of a
been,
catch.
But we've seen them taken by Owen Morgan, guys like that. It's another short ball from Rashid, who seems a bit discombobulated. And it's played down to deep square. Are they going to come back for 2? I think so.
Well, this Rashid's sort of go-to when he gets hit 4 is to bowl quicker and flatter. And Hope is just waiting for the short ball a little bit.
Correction, I think that was only 1, but for 3 balls that have gone 4-4-1, a lot happening to interest the ball. That one's played out to mid-wicket, and the fielder sticks a boot on the ball, and there's no run.
You may have to be careful spilling the beans, I think.
Yes, you can imagine people... a big hit there.
Linux Leah says, I hope the chunky biffer spills the beans on the inner workings of Afghan cricket now that he's basically retired.
Yes, it's who can spill the beans first. It's is it big enough? I don't think he's got all of that. If there's someone there... There is! Nabi takes the catch. Lewis was not reprieved for long. Rashid strikes a pose rather inappropriately, seeing it was rather a shit ball. But nonetheless, it's out.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
Yeah, short ball, but it was the googly, and so Lewis had to fetch that from way outside off stump against the spin, toe end of it, and Mohammad Nabi took it well coming in off the long on boundary.
No, that's a good point. That's probably why he has... I think the technical term is clothed it. He was certainly looking to put that in the stand, and he ended up being caught, I would say, a good 20 yards inside the rope.
Mohammad Nabi doing what some Afghan fielders have been unable to do throughout the tournament, and basically make some sort of moderately difficult catch. Actually looked very simple by the time he got to it.
Yeah, I would say it was non-regulation. He had to cover some ground. We've seen them dropped. But 58 for Evan Lewis. We've seen the end of Chris Gale's rather disappointing tournament, and I don't think Evan Lewis will have too many happy memories of this one either.
No, 58 off 78 started well, but against the spinners, as you say, he was tied down a little bit, wasn't able to wasn't able to nod to hit boundaries or singles, really, just a very high dot ball percentage. Felt he had to do something big and hold out.
Oh, I think that was absolutely the right shot. I don't think there's a problem with his shot selection there. He just didn't get hold of it. And an opportunity for Afghanistan now, with Hope trying to play that anchor role. They'll have a look at either Hetmeyer or Puran. I would expect Puran. No, it's Hetmeyer.
The left-hander in maybe against Rashid Khan?
Maybe.
Sounds like an Israeli president.
We have occasionally seen left-handers really get hold of Rashid Khan over the leg side, but if he is going to bowl some googlies, then that might be a weapon in his arsenal. Shimron Hetmeyer in the floppy hat.
He is on the non-strikers end for this one, though, as it's played into the leg side for no run. And West Indies, no respecters of form, choosing not to send in Puran after his 120 in the last game.
Yeah, he's had a very good tournament. The West Indies leading a run scorer in the tournament. Nazif Ahmed on Crick Tracker India says, is there a brand of tea called Boston Tea, or is there a gap in the market there?
Oh, I think there is, if there's not one, yeah.
Arthurshire says, brings us an update from Stormont. Drinks taken at 18 overs with Ireland comfortable on 80 for no loss. Paul Sterling's made a robust 34 but has played a supporting role to his partner, the 23-year-old James McCullum, who's made a calmly impressive 45. Tim Douglas says, hi Gorillas, thanks for a wonderful effort during the World Cup. I read that Bernard Tomic has been fined his £45,000 match winnings for not trying during his match at this year's Wimbledon. How do you get fined for not trying when you won?
That's
do you think Chris Gale might get the same treatment? Hardy, har, har, har.
Could be a few.
Edgar Allan Poe attaches a tweet from Dan Redford talking about saying that this is the anniversary of the birth of Ghulam Ahmed, a truly great Indian spinner who once bowled 92.3 overs in a Ranji Trophy game.
Well, thank you, Edgar Allan, appropriately enough, from beyond the grave.
Mog says he will use Fashtastic in the next management meeting he goes to.
Good.
Mog says, I agree with Andy, bollocks, which I imagine maybe that LBW call.
Maybe. I'll take the agreement wherever it comes. Hetmeyer plays his first ball into the offside, and there is no run.
And we have this man back into the bowling attack as well.
The gods made Muhammad Nabi, and they saw that he was good. He came to play with bat and ball with a style like silk and wood. When losers say shit house, well, you know that it's a lie. The gods made Muhammad Nabi, and he's never gonna die.
We did have a ball played into the offside for one run there, but I wanted to give that jingle its due. I like that one.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Also had quite an amusing shot of Rashid Khan sort of pointing his head round the corner of the screen, waiting to see if that catch was going to be taken. Nabi's in over the wicket, floats one a little bit slower, and it's a good shot because it's nicely played into the gap on the leg side for a single.
It did look like he was photobombing the screenshot
Yes,
when they showed
did.
it when the
It
run
did,
was being
yes.
taken, which was awesome. And then he decided that he was then going to go and strangle Samuel Shinwari, which was a bit of a random...
Yeah, not someone I'd want to take on, Samuel Shinwari. He's quite pretty strongly built.
Which is why I don't think he quite got that chance, well, the difficult chance of opportunity of a catch. He's a big unit, and he's also getting on the stride, so that's probably why he didn't get it.
Hetmeyer's forward again, inside edge onto his own pad, and it dribbles back to the bowler for no run.
TV umpire attaches a tweet from Justin Smythe. Paul Stirling, the first of 4,000 ODI runs for Ireland.
Well done him, and Ireland, I think, a much better team than Zimbabwe in Irish conditions. A big shot from Hetmeyer very early on. It's gone up towards long off. It's gone over him with 6 runs. And I think that was a very appropriate ooh hello, because it was only Hetmeyer's 4th ball. His eyes lit up, and he gave it a big swing.
Yeah, not the worst delivery from Mohamed Nabi. He held it back a little bit, threw it a little bit wider, but Hetmeyer backs himself and hit that a fair old distance.
Well, that gives some indication of why perhaps he was sent in ahead of Puran. Perhaps we're on a bit of a mission. That one's down to point, and there's no run.
I mean, Nicholas Puran's no slow coach.
No, he's not. That's the end of the over. It's 117 for 2 off 26.
I am loving the use of the floppy hat. It is awesome.
Yeah.
If you can see any pictures of this, guys, it is quality.
It also has a gold chain with a huge, in gold chain terms, bat dangling from it.
It absolutely does. Is that a bat and a ball?
I think it is.
I thought it was a cross.
I think it's a bat. It's a bit like going to a concert wearing a T-shirt of the band who's playing the concert. Yeah, we know you like that. We know you like cricket. You're playing cricket. You could put something
It is a
else
cricket.
on
It is
your
a cricket.
chain.
It is a cricket bat. Yeah. Hassan Ali has a sort of silhouette thing of his own wicket celebration on a chain around his neck.
Please. That's just something I'd expect from Imran to hear. That one's back to the bowler, and there is no run.
Shimmer and Hetmire favouring sort of the bucket hat rather than the wide-brimmed sun hat.
Yes, I'd really like to see someone in a flower pot hat. That would be nice. Rashid is full, and that's down low to the ball. Kisses the ball there, the batsman, but it's out to cover for no run.
So think more Richie Richardson, say, than Sunil Gavaskar.
Anything that's less Sunil Gavaskar is good.
The score is 117 for 2.
Thank you. As Rashid comes in again, back to the bowl, he dives, gets a sore elbow on the wicket, I'm sure, but he doesn't care. He wants to prevent that run, and he does.
Lots to talk about Australian male tennis players of dubious character.
Kyrgios getting a mention, no doubt. Rashid is going to come into Hope. A little bit shorter, leg spinner, but he's carved it away past point, and I think he's going to get 4. He is, and that's his 50.
1, 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4, up. 2, 3, 4, keep it up. 2, 3, 4.
That is his 50, isn't it? The score seems to stuck on 46. Hold back on the jingle just a second.
I'm holding.
Yeah.
No, that's his 4 has taken him to 46.
Okay, so that's delayed.
Scorers are on its day.
That was not 100% authoritative shot. He's gone back to that one, very much in the style of Joe Root, back to a fuller ball, played up to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Yes, Hope has 46 off 60, Hetmire 7 off 5. It's 121 for 2 in the 27th, and I would suggest it's time for a bit of an acceleration from the West Indies.
Mog says Tomic didn't win.
Wow. Googly. Inside edge from Hope, and he hasn't got his pad across either, and it's gone somewhere between bat and pad and stumps and wicketkeeper, and somehow not hit anything. Let's have another look. I think that's
turned a mile.
Bounced. It did turn quite a lot. It's bounced past leg stump off the inside edge, with the batsman knowing very little about it.
Rashid took a while to get his. Actually,
he's nutmegged it.
As did Adil Rashid. Both of them took a little while to get their googlies going in this tournament. I think Rashid Khan probably still suffering from a bit of from a dodgy finger, but he's certainly got that one to turn. That's like some of the ones he's got AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli with in the IPL over the last few years.
And the reason that looked so strange is it actually went in front of the batsman's back pad. He's hit it between his legs, so not actually that close to the stumps, but still comprehensively defeated.
Yeah. Mog says Tomic didn't win. He didn't even last an hour, I think. Genuine clown. Imagine says I think Knuckle is confusing Tomic with Kyrgios, both embarrassments.
Clubbed up towards long on. Is he going to beat the fielder? He is. He's quite wide. It was a nice straight shot from Hetmire, and that's 4 more to him.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Andy Murray still doing his best at Wimbledon? Is he still in?
He's in the doubles, I think.
He's playing with Serena in the doubles. He's not playing singles then.
I don't think so. I don't think he's fit enough to play singles.
That's a shame. Full ball, very full, almost yorked himself, the batsman there, but Rashid Khan can only get a hand on it, and it beats him for a single.
Yeah, he's playing in the men's doubles today. I'm not sure if he's playing mixed doubles.
Oh no, he's playing mixed doubles.
He is playing with Serena, yeah.
Yes.
Their first round game is tomorrow. That's a bit of an all-star cast, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you'd think so, yeah.
Be good for the fans to watch that, and also the weather's turned out this year for Wimbledon. It's always a bonus. No Cliff Richard this year, guys. Win.
Yeah, win-win, absolutely. Nabi comes in over the wicket, and it's a straight ball, and nicely played with the wrists by Hope, almost between the legs of his partner Hetmire, and he gets another single up to long on.
Imagine. I think a lot of people are now talking about both Kyrgios and Bernard Tomic. Tomic lost 3 in under an hour. It was embarrassing, said Nestle Boy. And Roger Maley is particularly vituperative about Bernard Tomic.
Okay, well he'd better not show his face around here anytime soon. That one's up and just past cover's left hand. It was in the air from Hetmeyer, but he's got it wide enough of cover and also wide enough of Najib at long off, and it's another 4.
2 + 2 is on man.
So Hetmeyer definitely fulfilling his remit here, not without some risk. Quite a few shots in the air, but he does have 16 off 8, and I think it's needed for the West Indies here.
Nubby really bellowing at extra cover to, I don't know,
Right,
dive.
Inspector Gadget his arms.
Yes, to dive full length at that and get no...
Pinch a quick single.
That was nicely done by Hetmeyer, just took all the pace off that, just dropped it into the offside.
Which is, there haven't been too many points in this innings where we've really seen the West...
We're near it.
Well, he's under the pump a little bit here, Nabby. 10 off this over so far, and that one's dabbed into the offside, and as often happens, when the batsman starts hitting the ball hard, fielders in the ring just go a little bit on their heels, and you can just pressure the bowlers, but they're starting to do it now. 3 in the ring on the offside, 2 on the leg, and that is played between 2 of those offside fielders, and they'll pick up another single scored off every ball in that over, and that meant 12 off it, and it's 133 for 2.
Arthurshire says that James McCollum and Paul Sterling have both brought up 50. James McCollum's first one-day international 50, his second in List A cricket, or rather his second 50-plus score, because the other one was 100.
Good to see some new blood in the Ireland team.
Yeah, James McCollum, who actually we interviewed in Malahide, because I think he's friends with, or certainly knows Roger McCann, our fine Irish commentator, good start. Actually, there's just been a wicket in at Stormont. Paul Sterling caught by Sean Williams off the bowling of Solomon Mire for 52 off 73, means that after 24 overs, Ireland are 111 for 1. Andy Balbirnie got 100 last time out, has come in at 3.
2 of the teams who will wish they were here on TV in the World Cup.
Got a slight change of bowling here for Afghanistan.
Always good of teams to put the squad players in so we can hear their jingle. After our jinglers have done the work, it's only right that the team should, give us a chance to play those jingles.
We had Syed Shahzad's jingle from a little while ago, because he was in the squads which played against Ireland in Dehradun earlier this March. Played one of the T20s,
yes.
Played one of the ODIs, but didn't get to bat or bowl because it rained.
Ah, okay. Well, he's literally in the sunshine now.
Yeah, it's a very long run-up. It's sort of Zahir Khan-esque gather and jump at the crease.
He's starting his run-up outside the circle, so that makes it at least 30 metres by my maths. But he's going to bowl fairly friendly left arm over at the end of it. Hope is still on 48. I gave him 50 about 10 minutes ago, and he still hasn't got it. We're going to get at least one more there. He may get 2, no, probably not. Through to deep cover. Yep, he does move on to 49.
Mog says Jules seems to be doing a lot of commentator wrangling today. Yes, occasionally bringing us back to the issue at hand.
Good. Well, it's yin and yang. Does that make any sense?
No. Yin, yang, and what's the third of that?
I think we both make up one of them. I'm not even sure which is which. It's kind of appropriate because one is, again, I'm not that familiar with Taoism, but one is feminine and one is masculine as well. And there's all sorts of symbolism.
Taoist patriarchy?
No, quite the reverse. There's no suggestion of one being superior to the other. That one's played out to mid-wicket and there is no run. More incorrect philosophical ramblings.
Sorry, that wasn't the word I was looking for. Taoist heteronormativity was the word I was looking for.
The word that's rarely far from the tip of my tongue.
And you hear it here, folks, on cricket commentary.
I'm not sure those 2 words have ever been said in the same sentence
before. It here. You hear it here first and only.
Yeah, Shahzad was getting some decent movement in his first spell. Haven't seen anything yet in this over.
Well, we're nearing the end of our spell, actually, so you can direct your questions about Taoism to Hendo when he comes on in a minute. That one's played back to the bowler, and there'll be no run. Yeah,
Shahzad, I think that was a cutter from Syed Shahzad. He's shown that he has that, because his normal delivery comes back into the right-hander and away from the left-hander. He's getting significant movement across the bows of Evan Lewis in particular in his first couple of overs.
Well, you could also say it's yin and yang. If you don't bowl at express pace, it does give you a little bit more flexibility to get the ball to stick in the wicket, and while you're not hurrying people, you can get other advantages.
Yeah, he's got a very quick arm action as well, Syed Shahzad. So it's probably a little bit quicker than you think he's going to be.
Here he comes, and top of off stump and plays down to backward point by Hetmeyer, who is momentarily becalmed, and there's no run.
Again, using the cutter very well there, and pitching it up, which Gulbuddin occasionally doesn't do. He occasionally drops short when he tries to bowl cutters and can be very friendly. What else have we got on the Twitter? Linux Leah says, I agree, people that wear shirts of the band that is playing to a concert are wankers. It's basically why I only own one football jersey. A Tibetan one. You can wear it at every public event, no matter who's playing.
Unless it's Tibet. Central Asia today. That one's played down before by Hetmeyer Shahzad. The spell is broken. He bowled that one too short, stuck in the wicket, sat up, and an easy 4 runs to Hetmeyer.
And if you kids...
They're not in FIFA, they're not actually a country, are they? Don't start on that, no. Is Tibet an official country? We're going right into the...
Can't listen and you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary, crossing a boundary.
I don't think it would count as an allowable answer on pointless. I think if that's the question you're asking.
And that's the main determinator of most things.
Yeah, Tibet played in the Kanifa World Cup
in
last
the one
year.
our friend Chris Dealey wrote the book on, which I believe is out.
Forgotten Nations, yeah, the book launches next week after the second semi.
Excellent. Well, do look out for that. Hetmeyer's going to come in again, left arm over, a bit too much onto leg stump, and it's clipped out to deep square for at least one, probably one. Yes, it is. That's the end of the over. And it's 139 for 2. Yes, Chris Dealey. That Chris 1209. Twitter
Correct.
Handle? Yep.
Unfortunately, he was mugged in Lyon the other day, but he's still he's lost his phone. But he's all right.
I hope he's physically.
He's all right.
I hope he's physically okay.
Yeah.
But yes, he's written a book called Forgotten Nations about all sorts of wacky teams who played in that Kanifa Championship. They were nations and regions and controversial countries that may or may not exist.
A lot of countries which have represented communities who have been politically persecuted, among other things. A lot of love.
Speaking of, wasn't there a team from Yorkshire?
No, Yorkshire are a Kanifa member, but they didn't play in that tournament. I mean, there's also just some people who fancy a bit of national identity.
Identity of whatever kind, yes.
Yeah, quite a lot of love for Afghanistan on our own Facebook live channel from Umar Arain, Akbar Bahrani. Also, Aladetta Mohammed Yar says hello. Adil Hoti is with us, and Ubaidullah Azan says very good.
Thank you. Nabi's going to come around the wicket. Down the track comes Hetmeyer, but he just holds back and clips into the leg side. He's looking for 2, but his partner's not so keen. And there is no run. A rather calamitous flick back onto the stumps from Mark Wood if you didn't see it. And he got the barest fingernail.
Yeah, my favourite headline after that was, I can't remember which paper it was, but finger licking wood.
That's not bad. Not run out for New Zealand yesterday involving Ross Taylor, not for the first time. That was going for 2.
Yeah, I saw that Taylor and Williamson had both been run out, and I thought, not again, but Williamson was very unlucky.
It was one of those not bad. Nabi's in again, and that one is pushed up to long on by Hope, and he finally, after what seems like an age, has actually got that 50 I promised.
When you're 50, sometimes you drink till you pass out on the floor. Now your liver's destroyed and you got hemorrhoids and you can barely get it up anymore.
50 off 65 balls for Shea Hope, 4 fours and 1 6.
Briefly, as we're going to come to the end of our spell after this over, I know obviously pitch conditions and such like will be a factor, but personally I would play Moeen ahead of Mark Wood and keep Plunkett in the side. A big hit there from Hetmeyer, big slog sweep, comfortably towards the back of the stand, and that's 6 runs.
Bit towards the back of the stand, that nearly left the stand.
It's nearly taken someone's hand off who rather unwisely tried to catch it in the crowd. Certainly nowhere near any of the fielders. Yeah, let me put it this way, if it came down to choosing Plunkett or Wood, I would choose Plunkett every time. That one's out towards extra cover and it's well fielded and there's no run.
Despite the fact that Wood has bowled very well at the top and is a death bowler. I know Plunkett's very good in the middle overs.
Okay, true that they are slightly different roles, but I think Archer and Wokes have that covered, and if you need another seamer, Stokes is always in there. Played out to extra covers now. I think Moeen coming back would strengthen the batting. I'm not sure about Wokes at 7. I think that's a little bit too far the other way. He's gone for another big swing there, Hetmeyer. That's quite so, and he missed the ball by a country mile there, I think. But he did manage to keep his back foot in the crease.
Probably. They're going upstairs just to check.
But I'm almost sure that's not going to be a stumping. Hendo is going to come in.
Hendo is coming on to ball by ball. The Bear's going to come in, and Tony Bishop is going to come in. So we'll have
It's a heavyweight line.
3-person change.
I meant in commentary terms.
Nubby's bowling from basically halfway back from the between the stumps and the popping crease, so no danger of a stumping. Yes, Hetmeyer did drag his foot a little bit, but then dragged it back again, despite very quick work from Ikram Ali Keel. Hetmeyer was very much in.
That's one thing. Losing Mohammad Shahzad probably doesn't hurt Afghanistan in the wicket-keeping department.
Shahzad is good standing up to the stumps, but I think this collection of lackwits and dead game match throwers. We have the world number 1 of the women's, yes indeed, Ashley Barty, who is also a cricketer, so we love her. Played in the Ikram's been very impressive.
Better, yes.
We'll
come in now. It's the over is complete.
I'll read some tweets while you guys move yourself around. Wog says we can happily ignore the many attaches screenshots of Stan Wawrinka, Lena, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer being very boring about strawberries.
He will take a single. He got a bit of bonus, Hendo, while the Bear finishes off doing his accounts, and he will be in to take over ball by.
And on that note, I'll hand over to Nigel Henderson.
Shahzad, 3 overs for 18 earlier. He's back into the attack, and just jabbed into the onside by Hope off. I think it was Mohammed Nabi. 148 for 2 is the score as Tony eases into the Tweets chair. We have 3 men on the offside, saving a single. Henceforth, Shy Hope now moving on to 51 from 66 deliveries, 4 fours and a 6, 1 beautiful straight 6, and 2 more on the onside. In comes Shahzad outside the off stump, slightly slower delivery. Hetmeyer waits for it and then cuts it back with a square down to third man and picks up another single. He's gone to 30 off 20, so enterprising innings from him, trying to get this West Indies run rate up. They're going along at about 4.9 at the moment. Still got the likes of Nick Pooran to come. Carlos Brathwaite scored that wonderful 100, I think it was against New Zealand, wasn't it, from 81 balls. Jason Holder, of course. And so plenty of batting, potentially, or plenty of batting potential to come. Whether it realises that potential, we wait to see. Pulled by Hope out to deep mid-wicket. Mujib does. I just keep
never
hearing your
again.
voice.
Oh, mind you, it was worth 500 quid last time, so don't knock it.
Hey, how?
Don't you remember someone paid £500?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
yes,
for the privilege of my
the fielding, and they come through for 1. Welcome back, Tony.
Hello, Hendo.
You hardly seem to have been off. It's the Tony Show.
Non-stop company.
Non-stop Tony. Anyone else want to do that?
Prostituting me out to the Twitter sphere at 500 quid a time.
More than happy to do that again. Here comes Shahzad into Hetmeyer, who takes a slight step down the wicket and then times the ball nicely as he's trying to push into the offside, but doesn't guide it wide of the man at cover point, so he won't get a run. And the phases that we were being told have been won is 1 to West Indies and 2 drawn phases. I don't really go along with this particularly. It's another of those.
Does it say? I didn't see where it told you if they'd won or drawn there.
It said 1 to West Indies and 2 drawn.
Oh, okay.
I don't really like it.
Like rounds in boxing.
Indeed. Shahzad in. Pulled by Hetmeyer. A ball that really wasn't that short at all. It goes over the practice pitches out there rapidly out to Rashid Khan, who does field well enough this time. He's already dropped one. Shea Hope early on. Gone on to get a 50. A costly miss, that one. Also some poor ground fielding from him. It hasn't been the happiest of tournaments for Rashid, but he has got a wicket now. The wicket of Evan Lewis off the bowling, sorry, off his own bowling, of course. Nabi's been hit for a couple of 6s of late, which is why we have Shahzad 4 singles off the overs. Much better comeback. They'll get a 5th as 52 for 2.
Well, we have a few tweets coming in for sure. Chris TB says on Wimbledon chat, I don't want to overreact.
Hope just touches it into the onside to the rather rotund figure of Shinwari. They come through for a single. After 31 overs, West Indies are 100.
But Corey Golf is going to win 30 Grand Slams. Well, there you are then.
30?
30? Well, she's very young. She's got time on her side, hasn't she?
Now, she might grow and it might all fade. It might all disappear. All her talent might disappear because she gets incredibly long limbs or something like that.
Well, yes, Nestle Boy is lost to me. I don't know where he's gone.
He's lost to many people, is Nestle Boy, I'm afraid to say. We'll come back to that in a moment then. 152 for 2 as we go into the 32nd over. We can more or less double this total if you want to from this point onwards, suggesting the West Indies will get somewhere around the 300 mark. They certainly should with 8 wickets in hand and some good biffers to come. Mujeeb is back into the attack. He bowls outside the off stump. It's dabbed down to backward point by Shea Hope, and there is no run. I'll jingle him up very shortly, but of course he gets through his over.
Oh, he does.
Fairly rapidly. He's into his 7th. Here he is again. Onto leg stump, clips to mid wicket. There will be no run. The throw is fired in over the stumps. Not that we could have one of those later.
Somewhere near the market. Nestlers, whereabouts are you going? Promise not to gate crash. Just curious. I used to work around there.
Yeah, where are you going? Forward comes. We were threatening to take a single.
Nestle Boy was listening to us on a bus in Holborn on his way to a boozy lunch in Borough.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Boozy lunch. Let's hope and just steers this to mid wicket. And again, there is no run. Quickly then.
Don't joke about the Taliban with Mujibur Rahman. Don't joke about.
Delivery, just flicking that out of the front of the hand. Good use of the 4th finger there, and there, an even better delivery, which hurries through his Hope. Perhaps should have been on the back foot.
The Taliban, he's not a fan.
Indeed not.
Arthur Shear's updating us on events in Ireland. There's been a wicket.
Reverse sweep, nicely played by Hope, but round comes Gulbadin at short third man to field, and so another scoreless the pitch, and not quite working for him there. I'm not surprised. I'd find it all sorts of difficulty to tell what Mujeeb, but he was scrambling to get in behind it and was beaten by it. Couldn't quite move his feet as quickly as he wanted to there. Perhaps not picking him and wanting to try and play it off his doing. It's very difficult for us to see from the angle that we see him from behind. If we were watching in the old style, in the black and white era, from the front, behind the wicketkeeper's backside, then we'd have a better idea. That's the end of the over.
Arthur Shear's update was wicket, and it was Paul Sterling.
No!
Paul Sterling has gone. He pulls my heart, but straight to Williams at square leg. He departs 52, bringing Monday's Centurion Andy Balbirnie to the crease.
I do like the look of Balbirnie. I think he's improving greatly as a player.
Since we jinxed him.
Well, since we jinxed him, absolutely.
We jinxed him in Ireland.
Yes.
Linux Leah says, but to buy them after the concert. Oh, and then I think she's talking about concert T-shirts. The next concert you go to show how uncool you think the band playing actually is. Okay.
Well, I can tell you that the Bear has finally sorted out his accounts. We hope.
I hope.
He's been drawing little tables.
I have little hope of that being the case, Hendo.
What of it actually arriving? The money.
Well, that's the thing.
We shall see. We shall see. Anyway, it's the Bear.
Shazad is into bowl. Left arm over into the belly of Hope as he tries to pull that, but he get through for what will be a leg bye.
I like that notion. Into the belly of Hope.
Yeah.
that sounds like a wonderful novel by, I don't know, Harper Lee or someone. Into the belly of Hope.
Good little off cutter. Took the pace off it. Where's this? Edgbaston, isn't it?
No,
yes.
Headingley.
Yes.
Try and keep up there. I mean, I suppose you've been rushing around the country. You don't know whether you're coming or going.
I didn't. For every day, the amount of times we go, what's tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Where have we got to be?
This might explain why the ICC wasn't on for 7 games. It was just Bear driving around in circles to the wrong ground.
Driving around like
with
a
the kit in the
lunatic.
back in the boot.
Picking up,
turning up at Edgbaston, going, oh fuck! It was supposed to be the Rose Bowl.
Picking up fucking speeding fines. Yeah, that's clipped into the leg side behind square. They're going to come back for 2. Nice little shot by Hetmeyer, and he'll get a single. Will he piss off Clive Lloyd today? Is the question.
Who, Hetmeyer?
Yeah.
What, by getting a few runs and then getting out?
Yep.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of that. I imagine Clive Lloyd is a deeply upset man by what he's seen from the West Indies.
Yes, a lot of the ex-players were.
I mean, they promised so much in that first game, didn't they? And they could have beaten and should have beaten Australia. I mean, what a difference that might have made.
Should have beaten New Zealand too.
Should have beaten New Zealand, so that they've had their opportunities.
They have. They weren't doing too bad. No, they did all right against. They screwed up against Pakistan. Or to
Sri Lanka.
Bangladesh as well.
Oh yeah.
Clipped down to long on. Close the window. Open it again, and it's a single.
Actually, they were well beaten by Bangladesh, weren't they? Bangladesh.
But they were. But I mean, they got 318 or something, 313 on the board.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a bad score, and Bangladesh knocked it off in about 42 overs.
Yeah, they batted superbly, didn't they? I mean,
Shakib,
100 for Shakib. Lytton Das that day was superb, and
but they dropped Shakib, and then they didn't. Bangladesh knew they were going to bowl short. They'd just been practicing against the short stuff the last 2 days previously, and West Indies just didn't adapt. Anyway, should got lucky with that LBW earlier, didn't he? Was it him or was it Hetmeyer?
I think it must have been while I was asleep.
It was. It must have been Hetmeyer. That is in to Hope, who beats mid-on, and they saunter through for a single. 158 for 2. Hope's on 55 or 76. This is a lefty. Just the ball was millimetres outside the line of off stump when it hit him in line. It was crashing into well below the bails on middle stump.
Filling up nicely now, Headingley.
It is actually.
Yeah. Headingley was a fun ground to go to. That Western Terrace does get quite lively.
Gosh, it does. Yes, lively not being the word. You wouldn't want to be stuck in it, believe me.
No, but it's quite fun to watch.
Yeah.
Shazad. Slower ball into the pitch, pulled not very pleasantly really by Hetmar. I think he realised he was going through the shot too quickly and sort of reined it in. Managed to get hold of it out to deep mid wicket for 2 runs.
Nicely fielded by Rashid Khan, who's had a bit of a mare here and there in the field, but dealt with that one very proficiently.
I've had a couple of experiences on the Western Terrace, or the West Stand as it's now known, in an attempt to give it a new name that it'll have a new behavioural
right.
I think so.
Hetmeyer tries to give him some room, I just mean in boozing terms, played back to the bowler off the back foot, no run.
Robert Bartridge.
They're Yorkies.
They are. Not just Yorkies though. I mean, I can remember being stuck amongst a huge party of Geordies actually.
Oh god, that's worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trum says heteronormativity, the reason I listen to guerrilla cricket.
Heteronormativity?
Yes.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Someone tell us.
Mog says, and here's your reminder that Tibet was so enlightened they only abolished slavery in the 1950s. Is that a reply to something? No, it's just a thought that appeared in
pops into his head.
Yeah.
The drinkers decided he looked like Thierry Henry. And they went on about it for the next 4 hours. This was on the Western Terrace. They just go, Thierry Henry, Thierry Henry. Well, talking about the Western Terrace, one of the funniest things I saw there was a man who, after a sort of a certain amount of drink had been taken, Thierry Henry.
So that's another Arsenal player then in the World Cup, because who was it who has the... he's not Arsenal anymore. Who's the tall Chelsea striker, French?
Giroud.
Yeah, the Olivier Giroud look-alike.
Oh, where was that?
I don't know, but there is one player in the World Cup who looks massively like him.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think who it is.
Rashid Khan. So I don't know why that took so long between overs. As we saunter towards the end of this competition, it's gone down a long on for a single.
New batsman, a new bowler, in fact.
Rashid Khan, yes please.
Okay.
In the whole 7 world, yeah. Rashid Khan, yes please.
I got that wrong. The LBW was...
Remind me who it is. But it's uncanny. Sri Lankan. He's Sri Lankan.
Oh, Udana?
Yeah, I think it's Udana.
Okay.
It is. It is Giroud.
Googly against Devon Lewis. He's since gone.
Well, I mean, it's not like you were paying attention out there, Bear, where you had more important things on your mind.
Trying to align tables with text in a Word document. I gave up in the end. It just ended up being a 3-page document.
Knuckle, who just popped in, and did you manage to change the screen, darken the screen there? Because suddenly, unless it's me,
it did
the pictures got all darker.
That could be the people at the ground, though.
Well, I don't know. It was as Knuckle pinned something to it.
Yeah, I think it's the cameraman. Because it just got a little bit brighter again now.
Oh, okay.
That's cut out to point, and there's no run. Someone's gone, that's too dark, mate, it's too dark.
Well, Nestle Boy's not saying that, because he's saying London is fantastic when the sun is out.
It is a great city when the sun is out, it's true. Rashid in. Oh! It's gone straight through. There's a big appeal. Well, I can't be. LBW, it went over the top of the stumps after hitting the pad. Yeah.
It's a leg by, isn't it? Yep. It's been given, and
Gulbadin is saying that's too high. But they couldn't score runs. They were really struggling against spinners. It was obvious. Ahmad Wazim didn't really know what to do. Yeah, maybe actually.
No, but I did think he knew what to do against Shinwari, who was...
Clearly it's too high. But hit the pad and went over the top of the stumps.
You were very down on Gulbadin the other day, weren't you?
Just a stupid decision.
Well, is it? I don't think it was. I mean, to call him a spinner is perhaps stretching things
he got
slightly.
a couple of overs with not many runs, didn't he? You know, and the only problem... Well, there's an attempted run out here. Just misses the stumps as hit my head up the pitch and Hope wasn't moving. Had to turn around. He probably run one on his own. I think he got beyond halfway. Yeah, it would have been.
Great work, though, by the keeper, I have to say.
Indeed.
Very quick.
I mean, the problem was, in that game, ball being turned back, if it had hit the stumps, he would have been out, I think.
Let's have a look.
It's the keeper who's picked it up. Still would have been
direct
close.
hit would have been super close.
Swept by Hope out towards short square leg, who hurled it at the bowler's end. Hit the stumps, good throw. I think it was well in.
Middle stump as well, though, yeah. I think that was Majib coming into field there.
It was the jacket. Wahab Riaz is a man who just picks up the spinners. That's the problem as well, you know. I mean,
yes,
he hits through the line and he'll take a chance, get down on one knee and try and slog sweep whether it's a good ball or not. And if he connects, it goes, you know.
And it did. I mean, it helped.
Did. But that was because that over for Gulbadin cost 20. They got down within a chaseable rate. I mean, all they had to do was keep it at 9 and over. They needed about 13 at the time.
But I think, you also got to say, well, at least he was, as captain, he was trying to take responsibility. It may have been the wrong decision, but I feel like it was a slightly brave move.
Oh, that's gone straight up in the air. Hetmar's thrown it away again. They're not going to be happy. No, he hasn't. He got away with that, you lucky bastard. He's hoofed that into the leg side. It's gone miles up in the air and landed just about in no man's land. 3 people going on it. Rashid Khan doesn't look happy.
Did they put each other off?
Well, I think they did. I think one was running with the ball coming over his shoulder. The other was running towards it. One was Mohammed Nambi and one was Shinwari. You don't you don't want to collide with Shinwari.
You've got to make a call. We've got Rashid Khan over 1.5 wickets, haven't we? One of our bets.
Yes.
And who else? Who's going to get a 50?
Well, it was Gale, wasn't it?
Oh right,
so
okay.
That's gone. Oh, it was Shinwari. I mean, Shinwari should have left it to Nabi, really, shouldn't he? Because Nabi's the man coming in.
I think he turns around and says, "Why didn't you call?"
Well, or why didn't you get out of my way?
Well, there's more dissent there. He's not happy. Is Rashid Khan?
Well, Rashid Khan is. I don't want to say he's had it easy, but I mean, he has done so well in his fledgling career that there is going to be a period when things don't quite go for him.
Well, absolutely.
And it's how he comes back from that as much as anything.
Got battering against us, 110 off 9 overs.
Incredible.
Jesus.
That really was phenomenal. I still haven't seen that. I do want to see it, so I have to look at some highlights at some point.
We're running behind on tweets. I will
get some in.
Catch you up. Okay, TV umpire said, perhaps Afghan management were so content with sending Shahzad back as they knew they had a good backup wicketkeeper. Shahzad's stats as a batsman
could have come good. I was looking forward to seeing him in bat in this tournament, to be fair. It left them short of a man who could score quick runs up top, apart from, of course, Zazai, who they've also dropped.
His World Cup games, 0 and 7.
Yeah, but I mean, that can happen to anyone at the beginning of a tournament, can't it? I mean, we've seen him score a wonderful 100 against India in the Asia Cup. I think,
and he gets there though.
Rohan
single.
Rohan says, "Don't like your 50 jingle." Oh yes, I just turned 50.
It's dropped behind. Oh dear, another shot at the stumps by the keeper. He misses again. Dive by Hetmar to get in.
It's falling. It's this man.
Trying to get one.
An Afghan bowler who rolls in with languid grace. He smashes stars all over the
that could be it.
Oh man.
What he actually said was, "Don't like your 50 jungle," but I think I know what he meant.
Jingle.
We've got another change in bowling. I mean, he's switching his bowlers around without wicket.
He's played against Canada and Pakistan.
I like that jingle. Slow ball into the pitch. Pulled by Hetmar. We're not great timing. Out to deep square leg. The man saunters in. They'll get a sauntered single.
Kelly Wheeler says, let's have an audience vote. Should the Bear present the World Cup final dressed in a gorilla?
Huge Bollywood actor. Massive glasses. Never seen anything like them. And I met him in the lift, and he had an entourage with all bouncers and shit, taking
Really?
him out onto the pitch. Yeah, there's about 6 or 7 of them.
The costume?
Absolutely.
What a thought that is.
Well, you should have seen the strange man of India, Pakistan. It was a huge, really heavily guarded. He seemed like a nice enough guy. Over the top, Hope's got enough of that, I think. He has indeed. It's gone over long off for 6 runs. Good shot, my man. I could have been the plant.
What, in the hitman sense or in the boyfriend sense?
In the hitman sense.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not, I wasn't intending in the boyfriend
I don't think I would
sense.
survive long in a lift. I'm not quite.
So, Ben, what you're saying is you were in the lift with this Bollywood actor who was surrounded by guards.
Was this the guy with the huge glasses?
Yeah, huge glasses and a big plaid suit.
You could have taken him out.
That good at martial arts.
Oh, with about 8.
In a movie, of course, I would have done. I'd stabbed him in the neck with a needle or something, and then beaten everyone in the lift and coolly walked out the bottom. That's not real life. Anyway.
End of story, really. And if you're wearing silly glasses as well, I mean,
And they were huge glasses. They were like half his face, and the suit was kind of looked cool, but it was just oversized plaid, kind of like Rupert the Bear almost.
That's strange.
With orangey colours.
Was the love child of Rupert the Bear and Elton John, was it? In one lift.
Something like that.
Like that.
But they all seem to love him in India. That's out. That's a bloody good catch at mid-wicket. Dalton didn't know who he was. I have nothing against him. Played off the back foot by Hope nicely.
That would have depended how small the lift was.
I just think that if you need 8 guards in a lift, then I think you should be taking out.
Adran gets is that his first or second wicket? That was his second wicket. Pulled by Hetmeyer. Pretty well timed, but good diving catch. Who was that? Was that Shinwari?
It can't be Shinwari, surely.
It's a big man at mid-wicket. Maybe it's Nabi. Hetmeyer's so upset with himself.
Well, he's going to have upset Clive Lloyd again.
He is going to have upset Clive Lloyd again. It was a good shot. It wasn't a bad shot anyway. Who is that? Can't see the name on the back of the shirt.
I think it may be Nabi.
Can't even see the number, so I can't tell you. But I will do in a minute because they'll tell me. Noor Ali?
It may have been Noor Ali, who may be on as a substitute. Noor Ali Zadran. It might have been a Zadran double act. He's toe-ended it, hasn't it? It wasn't there.
And here comes the drinks trolley. Now, this was the one thing that really annoyed Barry. he got
the drinks trolley.
The drinks trolley, because they drive on the cart. And he was like, why do they drive on the cart?
Sub Noor Ali, yeah. Well, he's made his mark coming on as sub. It's amazing how many good catches have been taken by subs in this tournament.
Yeah.
It seems to me. There was a really good one by Jadeja the other day, wasn't
the cart? No one ever takes any drinks from the cart. They always have their own men bring out the drinks for the team, and even the umpires, the third umpire comes out and brings them their own drinks.
So the cart's got a load of advertising on me.
Well, exactly. That's all it's there for, you know. And he used to wind them up. This is a little bugbear he had about the World Cup.
Nestle Boys confirmed. Yes, Borough Market it is. So that's where he's imbibing and noshing at lunchtime. Kiwi Cali says, massive compliment from my West Indian cab driver. You're very knowledgeable about cricket. Are you a journalist? She's laughing at. Kiwi Cali, I was so sorry to miss you. I was taking in a few days of county cricket up in Derby, and the day of your guerrilla listener experience I sadly couldn't make, but I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful time. Nestle Boy has for some reason sent us a picture of some stocks.
Some stocks?
Well, no. Oh, no, it's not stocks. It's a guillotine.
Oh, nice.
I just saw the hole, as it were, that the head goes through. I didn't see the great big blade on top.
So actually worse than stocks, basically.
Yeah.
Stocks don't really kill you, do they?
Well, no.
Guillotines tend to, you know.
Unless you get
spun
some
thrown in your face.
Very hard tomatoes lobbed in your direction. Jason Cox says, Barrow Boy and Banker by any chance? He's asking, I think, Nestle about which pub.
The Barrow Boy and Banker, that's the one on London Bridge, isn't it? Just at the bottom of London Bridge, I think.
Yep. Mog says, Clive Lloyd is to the Bear as name-dropping is to Sofa Katie.
He is.
It's true. I have turned into that man. It's terrible.
Before long, you'll be having a bear-a-dote.
Well, somewhere Sir Clive will be sitting talking to his mates, going, "Do you know what? I had this lunatic fucking taxi
driving me all around the country. I don't know how
it's 90 miles an hour.
I have no idea.
On the one hand, he had his phone. On the other hand, he.
And the other thing is, I don't know how
he was vaping.
I don't know how
he
got
had
away
the steering wheel between his knees, and he did 90 miles an hour most of the way while he was doing it.
Got a speeding ticket per day. Anyway, new batsman coming to the crease, I believe, will be probably this man.
If we could keep a batsman or your kind of thing, let me introduce Nicholas Sabora.
Just watching World Cup magic moments. West Indies winning. There he is. That was against England.
There is your man.
There's my man.
79. Mike Hendrick being bowled out. I suppose that's meant to make West Indies fans feel better, if not nostalgic. Joel Garner took 5 for 38 that day, and West Indies won by 92 runs at Lord's. Ain't gonna happen this year.
Nope. England might do.
They might.
Well, now it's a 2-game knockout, isn't it? You fancy your chances and that, you got to. If you play your best cricket, England win.
Yes.
And I think they'll be a lot more confident in a semi in a knockout game because, you've got nothing to lose, have you? Whereas not getting to the semis would have been an absolute travesty.
Yeah, well, it would have been a disaster for
whereas,
cricket,
in a one-off game, exactly, you play the odds, you go, well, we're the number one side in the world, we should win this.
Well, they're not anymore.
No, they are again after they won yesterday.
Oh, are they? They've gone back up to the top.
They've gone back up to the top.
Oh, right, okay.
2 wins took them down, 2 wins took them up. Dulwa in and smashed first ball, Poran, 4 runs, nice, out to deep mid-wicket. He was behind square.
What a shot.
Good God, yeah. So that 1-1-6-1 wicket for...
Yeah, funny old over from Dorlat, and a great start from Poran, of course, who scored 118 only, 3-4 days ago? 3 days ago?
Yeah, and then got out to Angelos Matthews' first ball in 2.5 years. Which was a shite fucking long off outside off stump.
Have you seen the ridiculous response to that? Like, how wonderful...
some people said it's the best ball ever. It was shit.
Well, I saw it was
a slow long off outside off stump.
But the whole premise of the articles written about him was that, well, he's been so up and down for him recently, which is true. He's had all sorts of problems with selectors. He's been left out of the team because he doesn't run quickly enough between the wickets, that sort of thing. But I did think that the sort of response to that, him coming back again, you say, yeah, well, that's amazing. He's got a wicket with his first ball that he hasn't bowled for ages. But to call it the ball of the World Cup.
No, it's not the ball of the World Cup. It was funny.
It's
I'll
funny.
give it that.
That's it. It's funny.
I mean, poor Poran, and pulled them all the way back to get out of that shit was, but shit takes wickets.
Well, we've seen that a few times, yeah, for sure.
Linux Lear. No, actually, I've got the wrong one. Hold on, I beg your pardon. I've jumped down. I was actually reading an article that someone sent about why there'd been radio silence from the ICC.
Oh, right.
Oh, someone's written an article, have
yeah. So Kiwi Cali had kindly sent us something from Neil Manthorpe.
Neil's decided to get it out.
Yeah.
Defended back down the track, and there's no one. Of course, he was on it. He was on it with me.
And it's mannersoncricket.com, and it's called World Cup Radio Silence. And there's a whole article about questioning the whys and the wherefores there.
Well, I should read that because
I've retweeted it just as much as anything to make sure, but it was from Kiwi Cali, who then retweeted it to us. So
next ball and prodded at, not really convincingly, by Hope, who kind of stuck his bat out at it, and get a single.
We'll be able to find it.
So that's buggered us for doing that article then, basically.
Well, I don't think so. I think we'll have more of an inside story to tell.
That was played out in the offside for no run, by the way.
See how we are for time.
I think we're all right.
Our friend Nazif Ahmed, who was worried about the blurriness of his screen watching on Facebook, said it's like that.
Out through the covers, though. It's a good catch.
We're picking up lots of love and coverage on Crick Tracker, I'm delighted to say.
Yeah.
Prince Khan just says hi.
Hi.
Hello to you.
We've got our friend IP.
Gasoline smeared on the camera lens. And then he went on to go, it's rather like watching a 70s smut movie. Well, I don't know who was commentating at the time.
IPL fixer. I presume he's not in anymore, is he? He's not the IPL.
No.
But if you're out there, IPL fixer, give us a call. That's driven out to cover, and there is no run.
Fisher gives us an Ireland update. 30 overs. Ireland in remorseless mood. 140 for 1. Balburney settling in on 9 not out. The backbone has been McCullum's patient 72.
Outside the off stump, and there's no run. Is that a test match or is that
it's an ODI, second ODI, and it's at Stormont.
Bloody hell. Who won the first one?
Ireland did, I think, but I could be wrong.
Tossed up and through.
Glasses. Linux Lear says that guy with the glasses plays Kapil Dev in a movie about the '83 World Cup. As far as I can tell, that costume
quicker. onto the batsman, and he managed to get it out square on the offside. He's on the edge of the circle to get a single. Score predictor says 279.
Your mate with the check jacket and the enormous war was a joke.
Well, I know. I think it was. He looked like a cartoon character.
Strange. Wicket, says Arthur Shear. There was another ball in the 13th over from Meyer, and Balburney wafts vaguely at it and is caught behind.
Oh, that's a shame.
No.
William Porterfield's now in, Ireland 140 for 2.
I don't think Balburney's done anything when we've watched him, has he?
Well, he has begun to. He's begun to.
Well,
now.
no, I mean when we've personally watched him, he's done nothing. When on the ground, we
No,
watched
he
him on
has.
the telly.
He did. He did in. I think in one of the test matches, didn't he? In the test match in Derridun, I think he got a few. He had been sort of, wasn't it? His fans were saying to us, "Can you stop commentating on him?" At
That's
one point.
big hair from Chris, isn't it? Dort in. Oh, edged, I think, from Poran driving at it, but it dropped short of the keeper
Waft,
anyway.
but no edge.
Maybe in that case, it was a slow ball into the wicket that actually turned.
Kiwi Callie is absolutely correct. It was Ranveer Singh. She says that Bollywood star sounds like Ranveer Singh. He's married to Deepika Padukone, whose father was once the world #1 in badminton. Well, there you go. Alex Ferguson. Not the Alex Ferguson, Alex Ferguson, but nonetheless Alex Ferguson.
Hello, Alex Ferguson. What's going on at United? Played out to mid-wicket, no run.
Well, he says, is there any more pissed off bowler in this tournament than Rashid Khan? The drops off him have been absolutely incredible. Yeah, he's not been lucky in that department. I agree. Gurpreet Singh Gill says, why don't you bring sounds direct from the ground? Oh, now there is a long, long story.
There's a long story about that. It would be illegal.
If you'd like to know, give us a ring and we can talk to you. Kiwi Callie says, I did have a wonderful time. Thank you. Highly recommend the listener experience. Thank you, Kiwi Callie.
Thank you, Kiwi Callie. Just another slower ball. Played pleasantly by Poran out to deep cover. The front foot just pushed it out there, gets a single.
We should say, if you want to take part in the Guerrilla Experience, go to our website. You can read about it on there under the headline, the 200.
Has anyone taken the semis at the final?
Well, no, the semis and the final are still open.
Well, there you go. Now, there'll be fun days in here.
They
I
will.
can guarantee that.
They'll be crowded with people. It will be a party atmosphere. And especially if
England win, crikey, mate. You'll never see anything like it.
And in fact, for the final, I'm planning that we'll go for a big, I say big night out. We'll go up the pub afterwards. So if you want
I
to
think we should do that.
Well.
We should have an end of World Cup party, whatever.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's been a long, hard haul.
I'll not drive that day.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I will either. Nice shot. Hope just clips that into the long onside out towards wide long on. Hasmatullah gets across. I think it's Hasmatullah out there.
No, it isn't. He's not playing Bear.
Well, Hashmat, I just saw on the field. Maybe he's come on as a sub.
He may come on as a sub then, yeah.
Nabi is out there and he gets around. They get back for 2. Nice, pleasant clip by Hope. 183 for 3. They're in the 37th over. Run rate's 4.99. Score predictor was having 270 odd a minute ago. I think they want to kick on from that. They've got 7 wickets in hand. They've got some heavy hitters. Ooh, I think it might be a little inside edge as well. It's a much slower ball by Dolwatts. Tosses it up with a bit of off cut. Sticks in the wicket 67 miles an hour. Hopes miles too early through his shot.
I don't think it's the worst shout.
It's not the worst shout, but I think he got an inside edge.
Doesn't seem to even be a discussion, does it, about whether they'll review it? Oh, no, there won't be.
I think Dorlet was asking the umpire, was saying, is that going down the leg side?
It was out the back of the hand, actually.
It was out the back of the hand. It's not a bad ball at all.
Maybe he didn't get a bit of inside edge, but maybe it was going down leg side too. That angle was terrible.
I'm a man who knows an LBW. That was nothing like it.
Yeah,
I'll be the judge of that.
We know the Bear has only been playing 35 years and hasn't got a clue what an LBW is.
Rubbish. I always get them right. Anyway, it ends up being a dot ball. Nothing happened. Last ball of the over. Only 3 off it so far. Dorwatts into Shy Hope. Another full toss thrown up outside off stump. Pleasantly driven square all on the ground out to man at point. And there is no run. Everyone complains that Hope got his run rate was too slow. That was one of the things that people said. I think he does all right. I think.
What, you're talking about the West Indies superstars you were hanging around with?
Yeah, not just them. A lot of other people think that Hope scores just a little bit too slow, but I think he fulfills the Root Kane Williamson role.
Yeah, but Rooty does tend to do it at
a runner ball. I know.
Hope is quite a bit shy of that at the moment.
But they've got so many biffers, it doesn't really matter that he goes on a little bit slower. I don't think, as long as he hangs.
But I don't think that has had any real bearing on how poorly the West Indies have ended up performing it. You know, I think he's actually batted
things around and keeps the innings together.
And you have to say that the West Indies batting isn't as strong as England anyway. I mean, they do need someone who sticks in a little bit. He could be a bit quicker, perhaps. Pretty well when he's got in.
It's just the LBW from the last over was missing. You want to get some tweets in there, Tony?
I will do. That's fine. Blair Clark is cutting the greens this morning at the world's number 3 golf course, which is Pine Valley, USA. Sent us an absolutely beautiful picture of the sunrise there, and he's listening to the fantastic commentary. It has made my summer. Well, thank you, Blair.
Very much.
Delighted.
We've got the green cutter at what course? Pinewood.
Pinewood, yeah. Yes, at Pine Valley, USA, world's number 3 golf course, and it looks an absolute picture.
Get some of those rich Republicans to sponsor us. That's driven out through the offside, cut off the back foot. It went very straight. Maybe a bit of poor fielding. The man at mid-off who's on the edge of the circle. And it gets through past him all the way at the boundary for 4 runs.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Again, I keep telling people not to play that. I don't know why everyone is still in the carts.
Which song? Which song is it?
It's a 6. It's one of the 6 jingles.
Is it the
Bloody
one that
Jimi
gets us
Hendrix?
dinged?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the one that gets us dinged every time.
But why have we been blocked? I thought we weren't blocked.
No, it's not blocked. It means you can't view that particular video, but we're still live. Driven down to long off. Production notes on air. Sorry, people. Inside mid off, he's quite wide and up inside the circle. Another 4 runs.
4.
He's a good batsman, I hope.
He's a proper batsman. That's the thing. I mean, this is what you have to understand about certain players. Your Williamsons, your Roots, your Hopes.
Good God, yeah.
Well, he's speeding up, isn't he? A couple of boundaries in succession.
He hits the bad ball. He hits pleasantly. He doesn't take a lot of risks. There's not a lot of aerial stuff.
They're proper batsmen. You can't just expect them. I mean, they do innovate, but
they have, they're good enough batsmen to have different shots, but
they're not the massive hitters.
No. Clips into the leg side, out towards mid wicket. There's a man there. Wow. And there's no run.
Another quick Stormont update, cricket not politics, from Arthurshire. McCollum caught Raza, bowled Meyer 73, a fantastic knock, but a tricky time to get out.
Around the wicket this time and hit in the air, but there's a man out there having just given him such kudos. He's gone and slapped one straight down bloody deep mid wicket's throat. Now he gets a wicket, 4-4 dot wicket. None for 52 in his 9th over, 192 for 4 the West Indies. That was a bit of a giveaway, I hope, to be honest.
Yeah, he got inside it and then he just wasn't really there to follow through and give it a big heave over the boundary. He's looking at the bottom of his bat. That's possibly where he caught it. And he's gone. And I wonder how much that criticism of his scoring rate might have affected him there, and in fact cost him his wicket there. He's hit 2 4s already in this in this over, and he's thinking he's got to hit another one.
I think.
And why is he doing that? Is it because he's aware of the criticism that's around the camp, that he's a little bit behind the rate all the time?
Possibly, but 192 with 13 overs to go. Maybe 12, can't remember, I didn't see how, I can't remember what over, 37th over we're in, aren't we? 38th over. So 12 and a bit overs to go at 192. West Indies could get 300. I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
to be fair, Afghanistan struggled to get 250, with their batting.
Yeah, but you look at that and you think to yourself, well, yes, you look 2 overs ago and you're thinking 300. Now they've lost Hetmeyer and Hope, 2 set batsmen in very quick succession,
and
that makes it more difficult.
This man can steer them to a decent score.
Well, possibly, yeah.
Oh, that's it. They can all hit a long ball. That's the thing.
Yeah,
about
but
I think
you need someone.
You need someone to stay there.
Well,
absolutely.
I keep also saying that you don't want 2 new batsmen in at the same time. This is always what's happening. This is what slows down teams.
Indeed. Well, it is the skipper, and he's going to face his first ball. Got golden that in the last game, didn't
West Indies Alexis never have been bolted. File marked captions with just an empty folder. In a perfect world, that have gone for someone older. Jason Holder.
I like Jason Holder. He's an impressive man.
It is, but again, it's interesting, isn't it, that Mash has been saying now that he shouldn't be captain of the ODI team. that they've had too many years of failure under him. But he's certainly a massive part of the team.
He is. Who else do you get? I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? That's around the wicket, Naby. There's an appeal for caught behind. I didn't think he got anywhere near it.
I think it was a question from Naby based on
prodding at it, and it was a flat
the wicketkeeper sticking his arm up.
Yeah, I mean, it was right across him. Did turn in a little fraction.
That's nowhere near the outside.
No, I don't think it's anywhere near the outside edge myself. No. Anyway, they didn't DRS it. This one is played back down the track. It's a good angle of attack round the wicket. First in, doesn't want to take a chance.
Well, he gets through his overs quick, doesn't he?
He does. No run.
I am Wesley says, thanks for keeping me sane while at work. Keep up the great work, lads. We're all delighted to do that.
Indeed.
Kiwi Callie says, I went to the pub up the road on Sunday. Was that the Woodman, I'm guessing?
Woodhouse.
The Woodhouse. Yes. The PG Woodhouse. Very good chips.
Oh, very good chips.
They are good chips. When I've stayed here, I've popped up to that pub for dinner and always quite enjoyed it.
Fries or chips?
Chips, I think.
Okay.
Arthur Shear says, I will once again recommend the Guerrilla Cricket Experience, and he's given us a trademark for it. TM'd it.
Oh, has he? Excellent.
Nice.
Yeah, please get in touch if you'd like to come along. For semi-finals, the next Tuesday and next Thursday. The final is Sunday the 14th. Have a look on our website, guerillacricket.com. 200 is what it's all underneath.
You get a free T-shirt.
You get a free T-shirt.
Couple of beers.
More than a couple of beers.
Free £10 bet.
Indeed. You get a prawn sandwich. You get a pastry. And
you get our company.
You get our company. You get what goes on in the green room, which you were never privy to otherwise. But of course, what
you
goes
must
on in the
never
green room,
repeat when you've left.
Indeed.
Yes.
It stays here.
Arthur Shear says, still trying to peer pressure Declan Coleman to do it during the Ireland Test.
I like it, yes.
Gurpreet Singh Gill wants to know what's the long story. This is about why we don't have the ground feed. Essentially, it's a different financial agreement
to absolutely
allow that.
We do it off tube, which is totally legal in England. We can sit here and just watch a normal telly feed and tell you what's going on in the world.
Kiwi Callie.
But it means we have to produce everything ourselves, and we can't use anyone else's sound, images, whatever. Pulled, didn't really get up, and Poran pulls it out to deep back to square leg, and they get a single.
Yeah, I mean, also, we'd have to have an awful lot of money to be able to do it, to buy the rights. We did buy the rights for in Ireland, Pakistan last year.
Well, I could tell you how much the rights were for this World Cup, but I'm not going to.
Oh, no. All right, then. Okay. Well, why not?
Well, you know, it's a conversation for off air. If you're in a green room and you pay £200, you might be able to find out. You can question me all you like. I've got plenty of beans to spill.
Yeah. Oh. Spill them to me.
Shazad back into attack, second ball of his over. It's just played behind square. There is no run.
Kiwi Callie says, here's a question for you. Why was Joe Root being booed at Durham yesterday? I don't think he was being booed, was he, Kiwi Callie?
It was probably Root.
No, they're not booing him. They're not booing him. New bowler is this man.
Shazad, third ball of the over, driven nicely by Holder, but straight to the man at cover.
Well, unless the likes of Brathwaite get out there, I think they're going to struggle. What is that tune?
Sad face.
But what's it called?
I can't remember. I can
it's a popular tune of the time.
Yes.
To get 300 now. 11 overs after this, 11 and a half overs, 107.
Holder can hit a frigging long ball, man.
He can, but he's only just got to the wicket.
Yes.
And he's no showing. Well, he's playing himself in. Fair.
He is playing
fair
himself
point.
in. He's another one who can, exactly, catch up. Certainly can catch up. Powerful man. And he did get out very cheaply in the last game by trying to bash his first ball. He's straight down mid-off's throat, wasn't it? Oh, that's on a back leg.
Came back at him a bit, that one, didn't it?
Come back at him a bit. High on his thigh. He's a tall man. He's never going to hit the wickets.
I didn't see that. Did he do that against Sri Lanka? I mean, I know Colin de Grandon did that for New Zealand against Australia. Steve Smith.
Because after that, he got caught behind. Can't remember what it was, but it was first ball. I might have been caught behind. He's just fishing outside the off stump, actually, trying to play a defensive shot and just got a nick. If I'm correct. But one game, he came against Pakistan at his first ball for 6.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't chasing many, were they? Against Pakistan?
No, maybe it was against Bangladesh then. Okay. It was against Bangladesh. Team in green, that's all I can remember. Saw a lot going to cricket, a lot of driving. Guided behind square out towards deep third man. Gets himself off the mark on his 5th 6th ball. And Paul ran 7 off 8. And he's another man who can catch it up, hit a long ball. And that's it, they've got 11 overs after this. 10 and over gets them close to 300. Gets more than enough for Afghanistan.
I think you're right, but I mean, I don't think unless they manage to time the ball particularly well. Like, you get the feeling again. This is another of those pitches. It's just slowing down a little bit, isn't it? You
they
get
all
that
get
feel.
slower, don't they?
They do, don't they?
None of them are consistent throughout the whole innings.
No, which is another reason for batting first, isn't it?
Yep. In reply to Chetan Arula and Neil Manthorpe's article about radio silence, I'll hold off.
Pulled, just over the top. Well, the man at mid-wicket got fingertips to it, palmed it over the bar, out towards deep mid-wicket, and they'll get back for 2.
But in reply to that, Jani says, check out Guerrilla Cricket South Africa and Guerrilla Cricket for the best in radio commentary. Very kind indeed. Evil Scotus says, also in reply to that, people wonder why I'm a devotee of that Guerrilla Cricket and to Guerrilla SA, who operate independently of the ICC bracket, much to the chagrin of certain official groups because of their clueless exclusionary fuckwittery.
Great comment.
Yeah,
comment of the day.
Mog says, want me to do a genuinely half-assed cover of that Hendrix song? Unrecognisable but copyright claim avoiding, guaranteed.
Yes.
There you go, Mog.
Let's do that.
You are
in a shouty grunge fashion, yeah.
commissioned with our eternal gratitude. Arthur Shear, how are we doing? That's the end of the day. We're still good for now, I think. Arthur Shear says, drinks at 33 overs. Zimbabwe have brought themselves right back into it with 3 wickets, all by Meyer. Ireland 150 for 3, Porterfield on 7, Kevin O'Brien on 2, looking to rebuild. They'll be eyeing 250, but it's a challenge from here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want one day international. I'm not sure what position Porterfield has come in. I wouldn't want him in that middle order, really.
Clipped out to long on by Holder, gets the single, first ball of the next over.
I mean, I think if Porterfield is still in the team and he's captaining, he's got to open, hasn't he? Anyway.
Yeah, 197 for 4. Paul Rand's going to face up, 9 off 9. Navi is into his last over. And this is our last over as a threesome.
It is.
It is too.
I don't know what's happening.
Do we know what's happening?
Knuckles coming in to take over ball by ball.
Okay.
I can't remember who else is on. Abdullah, I think.
Is it a 3-person shifting about?
I think it is.
Cut! A little bit in the air for a while. It's back with a point. Man on the boundary is Rashid Khan. Yes, please. And he runs the backward point and fields, and they get 2 runs.
Mog says, and also in reply to that article, give up on those close-shot mainstream productions. Guerrilla Cricket and Guerrilla SA bring the quality.
You know it.
I believe so.
With a little bit of a difference, and your input in the world, from the world as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all good fun. We like to think we're pretty good. Clipped out to mid-wicket. You know what? We're bloody reliable. There's no run. We're actually on every day.
Just about,
yeah. 199 for 4. Around the wicket, Navi. Clipped out to long on for a single.
Kiwi Cali says, thanks for the explanation. It makes more sense now.
Yes.
Yes.
Talking about Joe Root, yeah.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
West Indies, the 200 is up. Fourth 50 came off 55 balls. Third was 42, so we're going a little bit faster then.
And I'll play a jingle after this to tell you why we're so good.
Oh, another one. Navi's around the wicket to Jason Holt. He's bowling a ball just across him.
Another update from Stormont.
No run.
Kevin O'Brien has driven Solomon Meyer to mid-off without moving his feet. He's gone for 2. Meyer's got 154 for 4. Are the wheels coming off, says Arthur Shear.
No, quite possibly. Holder. Last ball of this over was from Navi, which is his final over. He's got 156 with 1 ball to go. Only 4 off the over so far. And Navi's up to the crease. Bowls, propped forward by Holder. Goes out short mid wicket. There will be no run. That's the only over. That's the end of my spell. After a short little tune, you'll hear Knackle and Friends.
Guerrilla Cricket is a guaranteed Michael Vaughan free zone. It's the only place where you will not hear the latest nonsense spouted by
Soapy thoughts. Vaughan Free's the best way to go.
England's rent-a-gob former captain. If you value the Michael Vaughan experience, please retune to Test Match Special, Channel 5, BT, The Daily Telegraph, Vogue, Country Living, Caravan and Motorhome, The Dandy, or The Beano.
Yes, indeed. No Vaughans here on Guerrilla Cricket, where we bring you uninterrupted global ball-by-ball coverage of the 2019 Men's World Cup. This is match 42. They're at Headingley. We're in sunny Sydenham, actually. They're in sunny Headingley as well. West Indies having won the toss and elected to bat. Skiddy, left arm seam. He's over the wicket to the left-handed Nicholas Pooran, who comes down the ground and drives this very hard. Simultaneously, a bad drop and a good stop. 200 for 4 against Afghanistan. Nicholas Pooran is on 12 off 12. Jason Holder, the West Indian captain, is on 2 off 9. Side Shirzad is continuing with his by Gulbuddin diving away to his right. I think that did get to him in the air, but he saved 3 runs there despite not being able to hold on. Jesus, Pooran hit that hard, moves to 13.
He did, and we should probably stress that we don't have a blanket ban on Vaughans. Should, I don't know, Frankie Vaughan?
Johnny Vaughan?
Johnny Vaughan, yeah. Johnny Vaughan probably be quite good.
Yeah, it was a very good effort from Gulbuddin diving to his right at mid-off. So Pooran's already been dropped twice, but both hit very, very hard.
I'm going to be on jingles for the last 10 overs, and Hendo was asking about that Shazad jingle. The tune is Live It Up by Mental As Anything.
Andy Ward here for all your 80s
all your
needs.
80s needs, exactly.
And Abdullah Haider is reading your tweets and your Facebook Live messages.
Yep.
We got anything while we shift the field around?
Kiwi Kali just mentioned that, Live It Up by Mental As Anything. And Mog Island falling into the mire.
It's Mire, though.
Solomon Mire's taken 4
spoils the joke.
Taken 4 for 36 in his 7th over. Very impressive. Shazad into the West Indian captain Jason Holder. Tucks Holder up on his pads, but he manages to nudge this past Shazad, who is scrambling into the leg side to try and cut that off. Holder picks up a single, moves to 3 off 10.
The West Indies don't have to worry about their tail like some teams do. They've got Brathwaite and Allen, who both had certainly batted very well at times in this tournament.
Kemar Roach is not the worst.
Not the worst. Allen played very well in the last game. He's rather unfortunately run out when him and, it was Brathwaite, wasn't it? Putting on a big partnership.
Yeah, Fabian Allen also took a fabulous caught and bowled in that game, although his bowling leaves something to be desired. 2 wickets in his 9 one-day internationals to date. Shazad to the left-hand Nicholas Pooran. That's down the leg side and with short fine leg up. Not a clever delivery. Pooran puts it away to his right hand for 4. Yeah, just getting his lines wrong a little bit there, Syed Shazad. Trying to bowl that cutter, which tucks up the left-hander, but too straight, and Pooran recognised where the fielders were not, as all good batsmen must.
Well, it's a bit of a freebie, that one. As you say, it's a poor line. It's also a little bit too short, and any international batsman's just going to help that on its way. And that's the important thing in the last 10 overs. Just don't give them anything. Make them work.
Shazad, the fuller and very good take by Ikram Ali Keel, diving down the leg side. I think that clipped the pad as it went down the leg side, and Ikram again diving full length down the leg side and has saved 4 leg byes. Excellent work by the stand-in Afghan wicketkeeper, of course not a member of the original squad, brought in for the is he injured, is he dropped, is he both, Mohammad Shazad.
The West Indies should be looking for at least 10 and over from here, you would have thought.
One would think. Jason Holder can hit a long ball, so can Carlos Brathwaite, and Pooran is going well. He's been the best performer with the bat for the West Indies in this tournament.
Which should put them just north of 300.
3 men up in the ring and a 3rd man on the offside. Shazad pulls out of his long run. I think he might slightly have lost his run a little bit. He does run in from well beyond the edge of the circle.
The longer you run, the more likely that'll happen, I suppose.
Yes, take more steps, more chance of getting steps wrong.
Yep.
As we see again the excellent catch that the subfielder Nurali Zadran took at at short mid-wicket to dismiss Shimron Hetmeyer. Good work diving away to his right.
And during the break of this innings, you might like to look up what's happening on Twitter today, including a spat between Sanjay Manjrekar and Ravi Jadeja. Jadeja taking exception to some of Manjrekar's comments, and also we've retweeted an interesting article by Neil Manthorpe.
Yeah, very good. In which one of our owners mentioned, although not by name. Shazad is in. 3rd man's come up and fine leg's gone back. So Shazad giving himself a bit of cover on the leg side. Bowls it into the body of Nicholas Pooran, who pulls into the leg side. Doesn't really time it, and it's fielded by Mohammed Nabi coming in from the long on boundary. Single taken.
Arthurshire, Death, Taxes and Irish batting collapses. And Pirate Badshah, there's always a collapse, and again referring to that game between Ireland and Zimbabwe being played today.
They've collapsed from 111 for none to 170 for 4, or more to the point, 140 for 1 to 170 for 4. Solomon Mire doing the damage. Lorcan Tucker going well on 11 off 8. William Porterfield at 4, as Hendo said. Not a particularly quick scorer, might not have long left of his long career, 12 off 24. Not the man you want to come in the middle order of the middle overs of one day international. So everyone is back on the leg side. It's a short, fine leg. So 3 men back on the leg side boundary. Shahzad is going to stay over the wicket to the right-handed Jason Holder, and with the field back, he bowls into the pads. Holder just nudges this for 1. He will get 2 because there's no one at mid-wicket. Shahzad had to do his own fielding there, running towards the mid-wicket boundary, mid-wicket region rather, to the edge of the circle. 2 runs taken. So what is that? 9 runs off the 42nd over. West Indies 209 for 4.
Kelly Wheeler, are the 200 visitors allowed to tweet offensive messages from the green room?
It is practically encouraged.
Holder on 5 off 11. Would really think he'd better get these long levers into play.
Yeah.
Pooran is possibly more like the batsman who's going to nudge it around and pick up 1s and 2s and bat through the 10 overs at a good rate, whereas the Holders, Brathwaite's, Allens, I think should be swinging for the fences.
Yeah, not that Pooran is of course short of power, but he is the best batsman left to the West Indies. We do have a change of bowling from the big superstar, the man who's taken the first wicket, number 8 on our jingle cart. From the other end, Mohammed Nabi coming out of the attack, having bowled his 10.
And who's coming in? I'm sorry,
it is the king of Afghan cricket.
Keep going.
Rashid Khan, 7 overs, 1 for 32, has come into this World Cup with the ball in the latter stages of it. He's in over the wickets too. Jason Holder bowls the googly, which Holder has a wild cut shot at, and Pooran, sorry, the left-hander. Thank you, Abdullah. Ikram Ali Keel fumbles, but eventually runs into the offside to do his own fielding. There is no run. Good start from Rashid Khan, bowling across the left-handed Nicholas Pooran. This is tossed up, and another googly, and another wild cut missed by Nicholas Pooran through to the keeper. There is no run taken cleanly this time.
Missed that by quite a distance.
Taking a little bit of bounce as well. Rashid from the Kirkstall lane in has a short third man, a deep point back on the boundary, short extra cover at a catching position. The slip has now come out to make it a sort of 2 short third man. There's a long off, a little bit off the boundary, long on, square leg and long leg. That's another googly, and as the slip comes out, it goes through where he would have been. Would have been a tough catch, a sharp chance, and again turn and bounce from that googly from Rashid Khan. Pooran's cut shot is fielded by the finer of those 2 short third men. They come through for a streaky single.
I think that was actually the leg spinners come in a little bit to the left-hander.
Oh, it did actually, yes. It was the same grip that Rashid Khan bowls it with.
He's almost bowling the cross seamer that could go either way.
Yeah, it's the thumb and the forefinger, so that extra bit of natural variation, and meant that Pooran was cramped for the cut shot. For the right-handed Jason Holder, the slip's gone back in. Short third man, deep point, extra cover, long off, long on, shortish, straightish mid-wicket, deep square and short, fine leg. Holder opens the face to this full delivery outside off stump and squirts it out to the deep point fielder, who comes into field, come through for a single.
Be interesting to see if this pitch slows up a bit later in the day. I don't know if it's been used. Do either of you know?
It's been a little bit of a gap since the last game at Headingley.
Saturday was
yeah,
the last
so
one.
It may well be a fresh pitch as Rashid Khan comes in to bowl the 5th ball of the over. It's on the pads of Nicholas Pooran, who nudges this down to that very self-same fielder who comes in off the boundary field. It's Gulbuddin Naib, the captain, who's out there on that boundary.
And there seems to have been more of a trend in the latter half of this tournament for teams to bat first rather than bowl.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of pitches slow down,
That's
notably England, New Zealand the other day.
Yeah.
Rahmat has gone back into a sort of a deep slip position, really. Rashid Khan beats Jason Holder in the air, and Holder tries to flick into the leg side, gets a thick inside edge onto the boot, loops out into the offside. A good over from Rashid and West Indies after 42, 212 for 4.
So Rashid's got 2 left. Gulbuddin has bowled 3. Not sure if he's going to bring himself in the last 10 overs.
No, the fact they brought in Dawlat and Syed Shahzad means they have more genuine bowling options. Mujib has 3 left, Dawlat has 3 left, and Shahzad has 3 left.
So I think I don't think we'll see Gulbuddin bowled again. He's really taken that role of just sneaking in 3 overs just to give you a little bit of flexibility at the end.
Yep.
James in Twickenham, does your Vaughan free guarantee apply?
Names as well, yes.
We'll also
Vaughan Taylor.
I don't know, but yes, just those names in combination, and that person I think was
only to surnames, or are those Crescent Vaughan also covered?
Like think of any
Vaughan no, that's Ralph Vaughan Williams.
That's his middle names as well. Yes.
We'll also
Vaughan Taylor.
I don't know, but yes, just those names in combination, and that person I think was what will ban, not ban, but look askance at. Change of bowling from the football stand end.
No one's looking askance at this man.
Don't joke about the Taliban with Mujibu Rahman.
Still less Nicholas Pooran, who says thank you very much, as this is a perfectly unoffensive delivery outside off stump, but Pooran backs away and hammers this hard and over the head of extra cover for 4. 1 bounce into the boundary rope.
No, I don't know. Oh yes, sorry, in a moment. I don't know if he's picked that one, but it was a quicker ball.
I say over the head of extra cover, but he actually dragged that so it was a little bit straighter of that man, and nowhere near any fielder who probably would have lost a hand if they'd tried to field that. Into the reverse sweep, which he rather chops down into the practice wicket, and goes to short third man, who flings the ball back in very, very hard, and it is eventually backed up by Dawlat Zadran on the edge of the circle at mid-on. Only the single taken because they had to rather hurry for that single.
It's a good piece of backing up, though. As teams do, fielders on the fence will run in to back up if they're in the right angle, hence the call you often hear in club cricket. Get off the fence.
5 runs off the first 2 balls of the over. I haven't yet seen the field for Mujib to the right-handed Nicholas.
Like it's
Jason Holder.
Deep on the leg side.
Yeah, short fine legs come up, everyone else has gone back. This is straight into the pads of Holder, challenging him to take on those deep fielders with the longer hit into the western terrace. Holder just nudges the single. Samula Shinwari fields at deep mid-wicket. Just a single taken. Holder only 7 off 14.
Yeah, I'm not sure if West Indies are going to crack 300 here. I think they might come up a little bit short. 290 or so.
3 men saving 1 behind between cover point and short third man. And so Pooran is forced to go a little bit wider to this as Mujib throws it wider, trying to get Pooran to slice to one of those fielders. Pooran again misses. There is no runs. Good stuff from Mujib, despite having gone for 6 of the first 3 balls of the overs. Very wide on the crease from round the wicket. Bowls fuller and quicker. Pooran pushes forward and takes the single down to Gulbuddin at long off. They come through for 1.
Is O'Shane Thomas playing today?
He is.
Good.
You're a fan?
I was just worried that they might drop him after the last game, but good to see him being retained, and I think he's going to have a big impact in the second
Roach
half.
come in for Cottrell, is that right?
No, for Shannon Gabriel. This one is the one that drifts into the pads for Nicholas Pooran. Mujib bowling very straight to the right-hander. He's got his field well set for that. Half an LBW appeal, but I think there was an inside edge, and in any case it was probably missing leg. 7 runs off the 43rd over, and West Indies 219 for 4.
Very economical again, Mujib. Sorry, Abdullah. He's 8 overs, none for 27, even after 7 off that one.
Yeah, very impressive again from the young Afghan spinner.
Arthurshire, not sure how much more Ireland can decently ring from Porterfield, Kevin O'Brien or Boyd Rankin after this season.
Yeah, you'd think so.
KOB's still, I think, still got quite a lot to give with the bat, but age catches up with everyone, even cricketers as impressive as Kevin O'Brien.
And you know that Neil Manthorpe article? There's another.
This story is not over. Good googly from Rashid Khan to Nicholas Pooran, drifting away from him outside the line of off stump, and turned as well. Pooran nowhere near that. And
the link of it sent from Otto Seymour. I'll come onto the tweet in a bit.
Yeah, very good. Neil Manthorpe's a fine broadcaster and writer and has written an excellent piece. There is no run.
Yeah, we did have some feedback from that RCC radio.
This is the leggy, a little bit group for 2.
Yeah, we had some feedback from that as it was going on, and I'll just say that one or two things have since transpired in that article that have not surprised me.
Quicker, Puran cuts. I'm not sure he picked that at all, to be honest. I think he was just hoping. Gets it past Mohammed Nabi on the edge of the circle, but Mujib fields on the cover boundary. They come. This is tossed up on the pads of Nicholas Puran, a little bit quicker as well. Rashid Khan, 59 miles an hour. This is turned into the leg side with mid-wicket back. It was always going to be a single. Srindwari did well though, running in 30 yards or so, if not more, to cut off the chance of a second, bringing Holder back onto strike. Puran on 29 off 27, but Holder's rather acting as an anchor and not in the good way.
No, it's a bit late for that. Lift the anchor.
Holder had absolutely no idea about that one, trying to play it as a googly. It was the leggy. He tried to work into the leg side. Leading edge somehow falls short to short third man. There is no run.
His feet were anchored on that one.
And Jason Holder and lofts it over long off for 6. Yes, indeed, he has absolutely no idea. Caught on the crease. This is tossed up. Holder does try and get on with things. It's come slightly off the bottom part of the bat, but he's got enough on it. Big, powerful man. Next ball is flatter and quicker, and Holder works it round the corner, works it very well. Daulat Zadran has a bit of a chase from short, fine leg. He does manage to chase it. They come through 4-2. There was that cross-seam leg break that Rashid Khan bowls, and I think he did hold her in the flight a little bit because it did slightly skew. So a good end to the over for the West Indies means that over went for 11. But Rashid Khan a little bit unlucky. West Indies 230 for 4 after 44 overs.
TV umpire would like an Afghanistan win, but can't really see them reaching more than 250, especially after they dropped a batsman for this game. And Otto Seymour, on that article about that Neil Manthorpe wrote, absolutely shameful and shocking. If you are a cricket fan and like me you can't watch all the games, feel free to listen to live ball by ball free commentary brought to you by Guerrilla Cricket and Guerrilla Cricket South Africa. Please support them.
Quite right, we've had every ball of the World Cup free of charge, available on any internet device anywhere in the world. What more can you want?
Although you could still give us money as well.
Please do. Mujib continuing, bowls into the pads of Puran, who tries to make room by backing away outside leg, but Mujib followed him, got it to drift a little bit. Puran hits hard down the ground on the bounce to Daulat Zadran on the long on boundary. They come through for a single.
So Holder back on strike, he's catching up a bit. Is he going to go for the rope in this over?
3 men back on the leg side in front of square. He does go for the rope. It is in the slot. It is length. Jason Holder is a very powerful man. That is to the short boundary, away towards the hospitality boxes. Dropped in the crowd. Hit.
Oh, isn't it
98 metres?
Isn't it annoying when they just a little languid swing of the bat through the ball? And I'm not using that as a West Indian cliche, or I'm trying not.
2, 4, 6.
Looked like it was just the easiest thing in the world to launch that into the back of the stand at mid-wicket.
But just any good batsman just has that kind of slow swing of the bat.
He looks so well balanced. He walks across outside off stump. Mujib bowls fuller, and it ends up as a full toss, and Holder's nearly holed out there. It hit it hard and flat, and it bounced just before the man trying to come in from the long on boundary. Holder is a little bit lucky. Actually, Mujib's a little bit lucky, to be honest, because that was a full toss, which should have gone pretty much where the last one did, but single taken. 8 runs off the first 3 balls of this. Mujib's 9th over, the 45th of the innings. He's round the wicket now to Nicholas Puran's down the leg side, and he could have left that, but no leaving at this stage of the innings. Puran sweeps hard, sweeps fine, sweeps for 4. Asghar Afghan at short fine leg was never going to get near that. The charge is on, still only 5.4 and over the overall required run rate, but in the last 5 overs, West Indies going at 8.4 and over.
It's going to be a stiff task for Afghanistan in the second half at the end of a long and tough campaign for them.
Yes, right. Indeed. Mujib in outside off stump. I guess it's want to bounce on Nicholas Puran, and good take by Akram Ali Keel. Puran is absolutely livid that he missed out on that one. There is no run.
Yes, he almost had a kick at where the ball was just a moment ago.
He's missed a few outside off stump there.
He missed a few off Rashid, yes.
Last ball of Mujib's 9th over is outside off stump. Doesn't miss the cut shot this time. Hit with the ferocity of a wronged man and hard out to the deep point boundary for 4.
It's Nissan Shi. It's Nissan Shi.
Well, Mujib had bowled very well before these last 2 overs, but his figures have taken a bit of a battering in the last few. Still only none for 43 off his 9 overs, but that was a very expensive over. What's that? 16 runs off the over. West Indies 246 for 4, 5 overs left.
Qualification for the semis and a short progression to the final. How can the Guerrilla cricket team not respect that?
Well, there was a tweet, I think...
Left.
Kelly Wheeler, but Michael Vaughan is crediting himself with winding Bairstow up to achieve his centuries. The resulting England victories
I think it was Tom Evans said Michael Vaughan has now inspired more ODI centuries than he ever scored.
Yeah. A wicket at Stormont. William Porterfield is out, caught by Sean Williams off the bowling of Sikandar Raza for 20 off 36. Ireland 188 for 5. Probably not a bad thing actually for Ireland that the rather pedestrian Porterfield is out. Rashid is going to continue bowling his 9th over. Gets this one a little bit wrong. Fired it down the leg side. Good take from Ikram Ali Keel, but it will be a wide.
Yes, excuse me. I find it hard to remember William Porterfield for anything except getting out first ball in ICC tournaments.
This is tossed up from Rashid Khan. Holder breaks the wrists on this to keep it straight to the man at extra cover. Cover comes round the field on the boundary. They come through for a single.
Yes, so this is Rashid Khan's last over. The West Indies have done well last 2 or 3 overs. They have picked up the slog sweeps. They're not really too bothered about which way Rashid or Mujib are turning the ball now. They're just going to try and hit through it.
This is a googly which completely does Nicholas Pooran. Held back a little bit, got it to dip on Nicholas Pooran. It turned sharply from leg stump to way outside off stump. Again, good keeping from Ikram Ali Keel. Nicholas Pooran utterly defeated. There is no run.
Yep, just as I said that, some respite for the bowler.
And that's googly as well, which a little bit shorter and flatter, and Pooran has to fetch this and does so. Clubs it down to Syed Shahzad coming in off the long on boundary. They come through for a single. Short third man, well, 2 short third men cover, and short fine leg are up everyone else's back. That's another attempt to googly, which goes way too far down the line.
That's 2:49. We've 27 balls left in the innings. They look a little close. It's going to be around 290, 300, I think.
Leg side, another wide. Ikram's keeping's been very good, but he's been tested by a few for sure. That is the googly. It does turn a little bit to hold it on the back foot and clubs this into the long on region. Najibullah comes in off the boundary to field. They come through for a single. 2 balls left of Rashid Khan's World Cup with the ball.
That's just what I was going to say, and he'll probably be a little bit disappointed. He has bowled in England before for Sussex, and he's underperformed a little
That's
bit.
shorter and flatter, and Pooran hits this hard behind square, but straight to the man on the deep square leg boundary. Rashid is having a little bit of byplay with Nicholas Pooran. Thinks he might have beaten him there, not quite sure he did. Yeah, only 6 wickets for Rashid Khan in the tournament thus far, at quite a healthy average.
Yeah,
I say a healthy average, a very high average.
I'd share your view that I think he's bowled a bit too quickly by and large.
Yeah, obviously the massacring by Morgan of Manchester didn't help.
Didn't help, no. It wasn't the record, but it was some kind of record.
World Cup record. Last ball of Rashid Khan's World Cup is a dot ball, which is pushed back to him by too bad. West Indies 252 for 4 overs left.
Well, I was actually commentating on that spell, that last 10
I was
overs,
there.
when Morgan was getting hold of him, and it was quite...
Jason Holder. Rashid Khan ends with 1 for 52 off 10. It's bowled pretty well today, actually, to be fair. And only 6 runs off the over, 2 of them wides, and the 47th over is not...
Something. I can't quite remember. Was it the record over 10 overs because someone went for more off 12, or was it the overall record?
It was the record in a World Cup. It was the joint second in a one-day international.
That's what it was, yes. Yeah.
Behind the unfortunate Mick Lewis.
Yes, didn't quite catch up with poor old Mick.
Yeah, he finishes with 6 wickets at an average of 69.33 for the tournament. Not the tournament many of us thought he was going to have. Yeah, it's 5.79 under 6 and over, despite being hit for 110 in 10 overs. But yes, a little bit too easy to play out, given that he's been bowling that quick and short.
Mog, regarding Mantop's piece, is anyone really surprised there's a shit show under the auspices of the ICC?
Well, I mean, they gave away control, which was the problem.
Yes, well, they've subcontracted it, presumably to the highest bidder, without really checking the colour of the money.
Yes, more is going to happen on that story. This one's got legs, as they say. Do have a change of bowling at the football stand end. It is this man coming on to bowl the 47th and the 49th, presumably.
That's a an Afghan bowler who rolls in with languid grace. He smashes stars all over the place. That's a he's played against Canada and Pakistan. That's a he's gonna ruin your fledgling stand.
Done it. If Mog is about, that is We Care a Lot, isn't it? I think it is. We Care a Lot, Faith No More.
Dowlett has bowled pretty well today, actually, in his what has he bowled? His 8 overs. Let me just find the scorecard for you. Yeah, let's just have a look very quickly. Apologies for the rather crappy link. 7 overs, in fact, 2 for 38, so he's not going to bowl out. Dowlett starts right arm over the wicket, bowls full outside off stump, and Pooran, the left-hander, skews this away hard and flat, but all along the ground and straight to Samyula Shinwari on the cover fence, single taken.
So, I think this is probably a par score from the West Indies, unless they par as in what they'd be expecting, about 290, 300, unless they get a real shift on.
But it should do the job against Afghanistan.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be more than.
I don't think Afghanistan has made over 250 in the whole tournament, unless they just scraped over the line against England
when they were chasing a zillion anyway.
When they weren't really chasing.
Yeah.
Same field, short third man, short fine leg, deep point and cover, with the cover sweeper back, long off, long on, deep mid wicket, and square leg all back on the fence.
Dowlett also has a very long run up.
He does, pretty much from the edge of the 30-metre circle. Bowls a slower, shorter ball, which Pooran doesn't really pick up, and mistimes the pull shot out to Najibullah Zadran on the deep square leg boundary. They come through for 1. Holder examines the foot of his bat. He's over a run of ball now, only just 25 off 24, with those 2 big sixes in the last couple of overs. Pooran going it slightly over a run of ball, 41 off 35.
Playing against a player the other Sunday, he might not have been the same build as Jason Holder, but he was pretty close to the same height.
Wow.
And he actually came out to bat 11, rather unusually, and the bat just looked like a little toothpick in his hand.
Presumably you bowled a lot of Yorkers.
I can't remember. I think we ran him out in the end, actually, which is even more surprising. Especially as I was keeping wicket, whipped the bails off.
No surprise he'd be a fast bowler?
No, he didn't do anything. It was really odd. Apparently he also keeps wickets. It just got stranger and stranger, although he didn't keep on the day.
Dowlett is in, third ball of the over, right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Nicholas Pooran. He's up to the crease now and bowls. I think that was an attempted cutter. Pooran's not got all of this, but he's got it into the gap between long on and deep mid wicket. 4 runs to Nicholas Pooran.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, we were quite pleased with our win until the opposition revealed they'd mostly been out till 6 a.m. in Camden because they'd come down to London to play 2 games at the weekend.
You can only play what you've got in front of you.
That's right.
Pooran closing in on what would be his third 50-plus score of the tournament.
He's going
and indeed of his career, given that he only played 1 game before this World Cup and got a golden duck. That's a good delivery from Dowlett, full and into the pads of Nicholas Pooran, slightly squaring up Pooran and sort of leading outside part of the bat, squirts all along the ground to mid-on. They come through for a single.
Certainly one of the players the West Indies are going to look to build a new team around.
Yeah, that 3, 4 and 5 of Hope, Hetmeyer and Pooran, in whatever order they come in, is quite an engine room for the future. Talk that Shimron Hetmeyer could be the next West Indies one-day international captain of the under-19 team that won the World Cup a few years ago.
Okay, that's interesting.
Dowlett is in, bowls on a length. Holders swung this away over the leg side. It's gone very, very high and just about long enough. Lands pretty much on the advertising hoarding at mid-wicket. 6 runs.
6.
Big, powerful man. Even when he gets it slightly off the higher part of the bat, it's going to go a long, long way. I think Dowlett's a little bit unlucky there. It was a good back-of-the-hand slower ball, and it did slightly beat Jason Holder.
Yeah,
put it low on the bat.
Jason Holder has hit a couple of sixes. Neither of them were exactly how he'd like them. I think if he really gets hold of one, will threaten the roof.
Last ball of Darlett's 8th over the 47th of the innings is driven hard and straight by Holder, so straight that it bounces into the stumps at the non-strikers end. Will they come through for 2? They might come through for 2. I think the man back
already broken.
Well, the stumps were already broken. I think Rahmat Shah realised that the stumps were broken just as he got to the stumps at the non-strikers end, because very comfortably in at the other end. A lot happened in that delivery. Full toss, driven back into the stumps. It dribbles out into the leg side. Dowlett is slightly body checked as he runs into Nicholas Pooran to try and field the ball. Pooran calls them because Dowlett threw the ball at that end, which was the right end to throw it in terms of where the batsmen were, because I think that Pooran was fairly comfortably in at the Holder was through for the second, and Rahmat doesn't take cleanly in his attempts to presumably catch the ball and rip a stump out.
Well,
in the end, 2 runs to Jason Holder. He moves to 33 off 26. Pooran 46 off 37. 3 overs left. West Indies 267 for 4. Mujib's going to bowl out.
There was a slightly unprofessional moment there from Afghanistan. It took them a couple of seconds to realise that no one was actually running towards the ball in the field, and the bowler had to do it.
Yes. Well, he did it, then got stopped by Pooran, and then did it again when he realised no one else was running in.
Yeah. That's been a long tournament, as Abdullah was saying.
Jane with AY.
Hello.
Between Guerrilla Cricket and Guerrilla Cricket South Africa, they've had non-geo-blocked audio of every match.
Correct.
And the ICC can't even get global from the ground comms to work. It's ludicrous.
There is a bit more involved in doing it from the ground.
Mujib bowling his last over round the wicket to left-handed Pooran. It's outside off stump. Pooran backs away to leg, clubs this into the offside. Rashid Khan fields on a massive bed of practice wickets out there at deep cover, single taken.
Still, if the contract's up for the, let's say, World 2020 in Australia next year, we'll put in a competitive bid.
We certainly will. As a man in we saw that that 6 from Jason Holder was dropped by a man in a Batman mask. Holder back on strike on 33.
He should have taken the bat catcher out of his utility belt.
Another wicket at Stormont. Shane Getcake bowled by the left-arm spinner Sean Williams for 7. Ireland 207 for 6. Back here in Headingley, or there in Headingley, it's outside off stump. Holder goes on the back foot and nudges this into the leg side. Rashid careens in off the mid-wicket boundary to field. They come through for a single. The last 5 overs of West Indies have been going over 11.5 and over. Good acceleration, possibly a little too late for the monster score that they might have got given the position they were in, but still should be very, very competitive indeed.
I think so. They've made sure they've got a total that they'll back to defend.
Rashid Mujib tosses this up way outside off stump, and Nicholas Pooran is beaten by the slowness as it plays way over the top of the ball, way too early. Ikram doesn't quite know where the ball is for a second, but does eventually pick up. It just snuck inside the tram line. There is no run. Mujib goes wide on the crease. That would have been a wide if Pooran had left it, but there's men up in the circle behind square on the offside, so he looped it over one of them. A bit of arthritic fielding from Dawlat Zadran, chasing that back towards the short third man boundary, is eventually helped out by the point coming round. They come through for 3, and Nicholas Pooran goes to 50.
Well done to him. I'll give you another story about arthritic cricket in just a moment, but in the meantime, and indeed speaking of arthritic,
when you're 50, sometimes you drink till you pass out on the floor. Now your liver's destroyed and you got hemorrhoids and you can barely get it up anymore.
6 4s and no 6s in that 50 off 40 balls for Nicholas Pooran. Took West Indies 272 for 14 balls left of the innings.
Yeah, here he comes.
As Mujib is in, bowls full, and that's nicely played by Holder. Short third man is up, but he's an orthodox short third man. Holder just put the bat down, opened the face, and squirted it away through the vacant slip region for 4. Excellent improvisation from Holder.
Yeah, just opened the face very nicely. I was playing for Hertfordshire over 50s on Tuesday, and news came in that our over 60s compatriots in a second.
This is fired in full down the leg side. Holder nudges this away. Actually, might have come off the pad, which is why Ikram Ali Keel only had to run out to sort of deep short leg to field this. They come through for the leg by. End of Mujib's spell, end of his tournament. Quite an impressive one for Mujib. His figures took a bit of a battering in the last few overs here, but 10 overs, none 52 from Mujeeb doesn't really tell the full story of how well he's bowled today and in the tournament thus far in very trying circumstances. West Indies with 2 overs left, 277 for 4.
Yeah, our over 60s come county and bowled Sussex out for 7. With both opening bowlers recording figures of 6 overs, 4 maidens, 5 wickets for 3.
Oof, indeed.
The matching bowling figures are a very nice touch.
Arthurshire?
That was knocked off 8 for 0 in 9 balls. Sorry, carry on.
No worries. Arthurshire, Shane has been bowled for 7 to Williams, and Ireland at 202 for 6. Tucker's looking good, though Adair can give it a whack.
Yeah, Mark Adair I've been quite impressed with Mark Adair since saw him play for England play for Ireland against England at Malahide.
Ravi Nair, right lads, and Jules. The Ashes ODI begins shortly, so I'll once more discombobulate myself by watching them and listening to you. Any tweet incoherence, I apologise for.
So do we.
Excellent work, Ravi, keeping well across cricket. Yeah, the second ODI starting at Leicester in a few in not too long a period of time. Darlett's continuing here, the 49th. End up as a full toss just outside our stump, and Holder has launched this way back over long on. Still going up 6 runs. He's hit a couple not quite out of the middle. That came right out of the middle of the middle. Great shot from Jason Holder, albeit not to a particularly good ball. Dowlett trying to go for the Yorker, just slightly overcooked it, and that was monstrous.
Yeah, in a situation where Brathwaite and Allen might not be required, West Indies will certainly hope to post a winning total. Nothing worse than losing batting first after you haven't used resources.
That's a good wide Yorker from Dowlett to the run. Holder left it thinking it might be a wide, but I think it actually just swung into the right-hander at the very last minute to finish well inside the wide tram line. Good stuff from Dowlett. There is no run.
Well, I say nothing worse, but being bowled out for 7 is probably worse.
Or bowled out for, or as Pakistan were against the West Indies only winner of the tournament, bowled out for 108 and then having it chased down in 14 overs, which is why Pakistan's net run rate is so bad that if they bowl first against Bangladesh, they actually can't go through on net run rate, and will have to win by
350.
They'll have to win by. There's a lot of figures floating around, but they're all north of 300. The highest ever winning margin in the one-day international is 290.
Aha, but no.
As Dowlett is in full outside off stump, ends up as another full toss, but not bad if it's wide. Holder opens the face, goes down to Mohammed Nabi at backward point on the boundary. They come through for a single.
That's not actually true, Knackle, and I'm a little bit disappointed in you because Australia women beat Denmark women by 350 runs in 1992.
I see. So it's the highest in a men's one-day international.
Correct, yeah.
Jason Holder's hit the biggest 6 of this tournament, 105 metres against Bangladesh at Taunton. In the same game, Shimron Hetmeyer hit one 104 metres, and then Andre Russell hit one 103 metres against Australia at Trent Bridge. So the only 300 metre plus 6s all hit by West Indians, who will probably finish 8th. Go figure. Slower ball into the pitch. Pooran tried to slog that over the leg side. That's gone way up in the air, but somehow he's managed to get that dead over the bowler's head for 6. I have no idea how Nicholas Pooran managed to get the ball there.
It just went a long way up and then just far enough out.
This is looking ominous for Afghanistan.
It is.
I mean, to go home winless, that's going to be very disappointing.
Yeah, a lot of people, me included, would have had them down for 1 or 2 wins, and they've got close. I mean, it was a great game against India. They probably should have beaten Sri Lanka. A cracking game against Pakistan.
Quite a few of us had a few shekels on Sri Lanka to finish bottom of the tournament rather than Afghanistan.
Probably they should have done. As Dowlett is in. Bowls short, and Ikram, having kept very well today, spills one at long last. It bounced short of him and possibly spun away, but that's poor work, and it's been given a wide, I think, over the batsman's head, so 5 wides.
Well, we've got a 5 somewhere, haven't we? Well, I'll just say 4.
All falling apart a little bit for Afghanistan at the death. This has been a very expensive over already.
Surely Ireland, Scotland or Netherlands would have done a better job had they qualified, given their experience.
That's not how it works. They should all be in.
Well, it's also not how it works because rightly Afghanistan won the qualifying tournament.
They did.
Yeah, but
doing it the hard way.
Yes, yeah.
but they still did it. I mean, that was a brutal cutthroat tournament in a format that's unnecessarily harsh, I think. Improvisation from Purin as he goes outside off stump, tries to work this over his own shoulder and over the keeper's head down to the sort of long stop boundary. Misses. It's a little bit lucky for Dowlett that wasn't called a wide unless it just bounced over the top of leg stump. There is no run.
But I suspect in 4 years' time, when the World Cup is held in India, they'll repeat this format, the 10-team round robin.
That seems to be the plan at the moment.
Yes, sadly.
Sadly indeed. It's also rather fortunate for the tournament. I think he's going to bowl this ball first.
Yes, Dowlett concluding his spell, concluding his World Cup. It's full outside off stump. Purin puts back to ball, nudges it into the leg side. They should get two, they will get two as it just dribbles past the edge of the 30-metre circle. They do come through for two. Purin's on 58, Holder's on 45. West Indies 2.974 going into the last over, so that's 12, 17, 18, 20 off Dowlett's last over. 2 for 73 off his 9. Chastening an expensive tournament for him. Although I think he's bowled quite well today, apart from that last over.
Yeah, as I'm saying, it's there's no secret you'd rather play New Zealand than England in a semi-final, and there is a little bit of jockeying for position in those top two places to do. But fortunately, Australia need to win to bag that semi-final against New Zealand and not lose.
They do. If Australia win, they're definitely finishing first and playing New Zealand at Old Trafford, a game I will be at
Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yep.
If they lose and India win, then India play New Zealand at Old Trafford, and then it's Australia England at Edgbaston a couple of days later on Thursday,
which I will be here commentating for.
I'd like to see.
I will also be here commentating.
Good.
I'd like to see India play New Zealand. We didn't get to see them clash during the tournament.
And I think that would have been a good game because New Zealand were on a winning streak at the time. Both teams were.
And New Zealand did get the better of India in that warm-up game at the Oval.
They did, but New Zealand rather limping to the finish. It'll be very interesting to see how that one goes. India, of course, have made a couple of changes to their squad through injuries. Syed Shahzad that's going to be bowling the last over. It's a good cutter which angles away from Nicholas Purin, and there's going to be a run out. Nicholas Purin wanted the bye. Sorry, it was Holder who of course missed that. Nicholas Purin wanted the bye through to the keeper. He basically ran two by himself. Holder sent him back, and Purin has run out by about the length of the pitch.
You silly little boy, what on earth were you playing at? Oh!
I would argue that at least one of those changes makes India stronger, even if it was for injury.
Rishabh Pant.
Pant for Shankar, yes.
Well, I mean, Pant for Shikhar Dhawan obviously is a big loss.
Is he going to come back? No.
No, he's out of the tournament. Punt was his injury
I
replacement.
actually forgot about that. That makes sense now. Yes, because no, this is all on me. Pant wasn't in the original squad, as I thought, and then when he came in for Shankar, I thought, yeah, but of course you're right, he came in for Dhawan.
Yeah, it's a big loss. Obviously, Shikhar Dhawan, a very fine player. He and Rohit Sharma.
Lokesh Rahul hasn't got going.
No, he hasn't. He's a better player than he's shown in this tournament, but he seems a little bit stymied, but hasn't really hurt India because Rohit's been going so well. Obviously, great opening partnership between those two, between Shikhar and Dhawan.
That's look at the four teams in the semi-finals. Australia, England, and India. All their opening partnerships have done extremely well, whereas New Zealand have been really struggling.
Really poor.
In the last few games.
Jason Holder's going to keep the strike as an even bigger man than him comes to the non-striker's end after that faintly comical run out. I don't blame Nicholas Purin for wanting the bye.
Seemed fine.
Probably they should have run.
Yeah. Anyway, it's this man. Remember the name.
Every breath you take, every stroke you make, every bat you break, every breath you wait, we'll be watching you.
Shahzad into the West Indian captain Jason Holder. It's on a length. Holder's tried to swing this into the leg side. He's not got all of this, and he's going to be out. It's a good catch from the man coming in from deep square leg. So the West Indies rather stumbling in this last over. It was a decent catch, but I think that's Dowlett Zadran coming in off the long leg fence. And Syed Shahzad has his first one-day international wicket. Yeah, very calmly taken by Dowlett coming in, probably about 15 metres off the fence. There, a decent innings from Jason Holder after a slow start, 45 off 34. West Indies 2.97 for 6, 4 balls left of the innings.
Team hat-trick, boys.
Not a thing.
I know.
Chris TB, the largest margin of victory in women's ODIs is actually 408 runs by New Zealand against Pakistan.
The one I was
in
quoting was
1997.
the highest World Cup win, but thank you for that, Chris. Yep.
Yeah, that was also a World Cup game.
Was it? Oh, I looked it up.
Yeah,
I looked it up and it told me there was that Australia
Pakistan
one.
women, they played their first World Cup in '97, so...
Oh, well,
when New Zealand were one of the best teams in the world at the time.
Debbie Hockley in that, wasn't it?
Two new men, you don't get this very often, midway through an innings. Two men on naught off naught to the middle. And the West Indian, the best fielder in the West Indies by repute, is going to have to do some batting.
I seek him here, I seek him there, from Sabina Park to Eden Garden.
Surely they crossed.
I know I've got...
They did cross, so Big Carlos is on strike. Good cutter from Syed Shahzad, holds up in the pitch. Brathwaite pushes it to the finer of the two short third men. There is no run. Really good stuff from Syed Shahzad.
Yeah, what a bonus for Afghanistan. 3 dot balls in the last over.
And the fact that 2 of them were wickets.
It might keep them under 300 after all.
Yes, quite.
On that victory margin, I think if Pakistan do bat first tomorrow, they are going to give it a go. I think Fakhar Zaman's just going to tee off and try to get up to 450.
And they've got no choice. And hope for the best.
And Muhammad Amir probably bowled 10 overs out in one spell, if they get that big score.
It's a bit of a shot to nothing for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got a complete free hit. Carlos Brathwaite, who's enhanced his reputation in this tournament for sure.
Well, he's done a second thing in his career.
He did a second and a half thing the other day. That's full outside off stump. Brathwaite launches into this one. It was length outside off stump. It was in, as they say, the slot. And Brathwaite's off the mark with 6 over long off. Again, someone who's so powerful and has such long levers, it looks like a very easy swing.
Now, I know we love to say things in hindsight and in narrative, but I was watching that game against New Zealand and I really felt he over-celebrated his century. I thought at that stage of the game he really should have just waved his bat, got his head back together and got ready for the next ball.
I'm with you. I think it took a lot out of him and his focus disappeared.
Maybe that cost him the extra couple of inches he couldn't get to give Trent Boult the catch, but it was a very good catch. West Indies probably shouldn't have never found themselves in that position, but there you go. This is on the legs from Syed Shahzad, and he's a little bit unlucky because Brathwaite was beaten by that, was beaten in the air, tried to swing it over the leg side, leading edge, goes fine of short third man for 4.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
Yeah, so wicket,
yes.
dot, 6, 4. It's all happening, folks.
Cruel
West Indies
game.
up over 300.
Yes.
Chris TB, and if you count youth ODIs, Australia under-19s beat Kenya under-19s by 430 runs in the 2002 tournament, under-19 World Cup.
Oofed.
Oofed indeed. 307, 1 ball to go.
Last ball of the tournament with the ball for Afghanistan. Syed Shahzad, newly a member of the ODI Wicket Club, bowls a length delivery outside off stump. It's gone way up in the air, and Gulbuddin, the captain, has dropped it. It's come out of the sun, but there's no real excuse for that. It was straight to him in the end at long on, and not to get all symbolic and microcosmy, but the captain dropping a simple catch off the last ball of the tournament and it going for 4. Not a good end for Afghanistan with the ball. West Indies end 311 for 6.
The pimps in the crib, ma. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, those who like to talk about momentum might just talk about a little bit of momentum.
It's actually pulled out of the catch because he genuinely didn't see it. He's not wearing sunglasses, which is his error. It came out of the sun and he's tried to cover his head. That's an extraordinary look for a boundary fielder at this stage of the innings.
Yep, and he's captain, so he can't point to anyone else.
Ikram Ali Kil gives him a little pat on the shoulder, but what a weird end.
Sums up Afghanistan's struggles in the field in this tournament.
It does.
Yeah, I know. Microcosm something.
So, 311. Sorry, Abdullah.
So, just a few tweets to read out. Ravi Nair, Amy Jones out to Perry for 5. England 5 for 1 in the second over. And Sarah Taylor's out with a niggle, so Wyatt's in. Chris TB, sorry I didn't hear the World Cup part. You're right with 363. I think the game he was referring to, that was one of Pakistan women's first ever ODIs.
Okay.
In preparation for that 97 World Cup.
Wikipedia is verified.
Well, women's cricket was banned in Pakistan right up until then. They were doing
the
two sisters were doing it against the express advice of the government and backed up by their father's money and political power, which basically meant that they could stick 2 fingers up to the government and get women's cricket up to a start in Pakistan.
And sadly, one of those passed away in December.
Yes.
Sharmeen
the Khan sisters.
Yes. And store in second ODI, Ireland, Zimbabwe, 50. Says Artacher. Lorcan Tucker clips the ball off his toes to bring up his half century. It has included an orgasmic cut from Williams for 4. And if Ireland do go on to win the match, it will be largely thanks to this innings.
I think that's Lorcan Tucker's first one-day international 50, possibly his first international 50. Yes, it is, in fact. But they have just lost a wicket there.
Yes.
Andy McBride, LBW, to Sikandar Raza for 4.
And it's 233 for 8 in that game.
We got any more tweets?
That's what I've got for now.
All right,
let me see if I've missed any.
We'll hold it there. I'll just go through the scorecard very quickly before we go to some highlights. Chris Gale, his long and illustrious World Cup career ended in rather inauspicious circumstances. 7 off 18 he made, swinging wildly at one outside off stump from Dawlat Tadran. Comfortable catch for Ikram Ali Keel. There was a good partnership then between Evan Lewis and Shea Hope before Evan Lewis was caught by Rashid Khan. A short ball which Evan Lewis spanked to long on, where Mohamed Nabi took a good catch. 58 off 78. Shea Hope was the next man to go, not too long after. Again, this time Rashid Khan and Mohamed Nabi combining the other way around. Shea Hope holding out to deep mid-wicket, just beaten in the flight a little bit. 77 off 92. Then there was a partnership of 105 between Nicholas Poor and Shimron Hetmar. Sorry, not between Nicholas Poor and Shimron Hetmar. Sorry, I missed a wicket in there. Shimron Hetmar was caught very well at short mid-wicket by Noor Ali Zadran at the bowling of Dawlat Tadran. A very good catch diving to his right of a full-blooded pull shot. That was 173 for 4. Shai Hope fell at 192 for 4. Then there was the partnership between Nicholas Pooran and Jason Holder of 105 before Nicholas Pooran was run out in faintly farcical circumstances. He wanted a bye through to the keeper, Holder didn't, and Pooran was run out by the length of the pitch by Ikram Ali Keel and Syed Shahzad for 58 of 43. The very next ball, Syed Shahzad got his first one-day international wicket. Good, easy catch, or an easy catch made to look easy at deep backward spur by Dawlat Tadran. Jason Holder gone for 45 off 34. There was a bit of Humpty for Carlos Brathwaite off the last 4 balls of the innings. 14 off 4 with 2 fours and a 6. Fabian Allen did not face a ball. 4 leg byes and 9 wides, all the 5 of them coming in one go, as it were. The bowling figures: Mujibur Rahman, another decent day for him. 10 overs, none for 52. Bowled a bit better than those figures suggest. Dawlat Tadran also bowled better than his figures suggested. Took some tap in his last over. 9 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 73. Syed Shahzad, the 8 overs, no maidens, 1 for 56. Bowled that last over of 2 halves, as it were. Gulruddin Naib just bowling the 3 overs today. 3 overs, none for 18. Mohamed Nabi, 10 overs, none for 56. And Rashid Khan, 10 overs, 1 for 52. The best bowling figures. West Indies make 311 for 6. Afghanistan will need to go better than they have at any point in the tournament, get 312 to close their World Cup on a win at Headingley. We have a little bit of lunch, and the players have a little bit of lunch as well. We'll go to some archive footage of something or other.
Yeah, I'm going to take you back to England versus Afghanistan from the 2015-2020 World Cup.
I think that'll be the 50 over World Cup in 2015.
You are probably correct, yes. No, I can't find it anyway. Oh, sorry. Is that not? Yeah. Sorry, I've been duped by this machine. I'm going to take you back instead. West Indies versus the rest of the world from Lords last year.
Guerrilla crickets.